To protect her innocence, the woman confessed to the hottest disabled beastman she could find. If he rejected her affection, she would be dragged off to the mating den with any male in the tribe in the next second, because today was the tribe's partner matching day. As an outsider female, once chosen by any male in the tribe, she'd be treated as nothing but a baby machine. So, the disabled demon Lord Hottie became her target. After days of playing ugly, she dropped the act and confessed to the big shot at her most beautiful. But what she didn't expect was that the demon Lord Hottie, rumored to be infertile, would cling to her every single day. Is it too late to run now? The bustling market was packed with beastmen. A woman who'd just arrived in this world was trudging along, lugging a bag of wild wheat, following behind a leopard female. Her soft hands were rubbed raw and red. She'd had a proper education back home, but now she'd sunk to being a maid for uneducated beastmen. Yan Yao looked miserable. Other transmigrators got cheat codes and golden fingers, but all she had was a mute system guide. Only by completing the tasks it listed could she barely earn some supply rewards. But this was a beastman world with massive, powerful bodies. One random claw swipe could tear your flesh apart. For Yan Yao, who transmigrated in her own body, her top priority was just staying alive and avoiding any conflict with beastmen. The leopard female Da Hong, walking ahead, glanced back at Yan Yao with irritation. "Why are you so slow? I'm not bringing you out next time." Her voice was loud and drew the attention of nearby beastmen. Yan Yao just gave a simple reply, because he was sweating so much. The mud and hair on the back of his neck were all clumped together sticky. Da Hong's face showed pure disgust. "Your hair is so gross. Seriously." Yan Yao gripped the wooden token in his hand. "If it weren't for me being too good looking, I wouldn't have to put up with this. Being mocked by an ugly freak like you. These damn beastmen. Any female who's even slightly pretty gets picked out by male beastmen ahead of time. Once chosen, they're thrown into the marriage bed that very night. All rushed and hasty, skipping straight past the whole getting to know you phase. A person can be killed but not humiliated." So Yan Yao had to hide his looks and purposely play ugly. Facing Da Hong's disdain, Yan Yao forced a fake smile. "Da Hong, your face is so unique. How could I ever compare to you?" Yan Yao counted on her limited brain power, not understanding sarcasm, and deliberately fired back. Da Hong rolled her eyes, with pride written all over her face, and stopped picking on Yan Yao. She liked having an ugly and smart enough to know her place female to make herself look better. Just then, the leopard male Wohu walked over to them. Sure enough, with his 10-pack abs, he casually took the heavy beast hide bundle from Yan Yao's hands. Even though he was dirty and ugly now, he was still a female. Most males in the land tribes would take care of females who lacked strength in the tribe. Da Hong, the spoiled one, was furious and stomped her foot in annoyance at Woohoo. "Why are you helping her? She's an outsider female and she's disgustingly dirty. You're not allowed to help her." Woohoo's eyes flashed with helplessness, and he could only take the heavy beast hide bundle and shove it back into Yan Yao's hands. Da Hong grew even more smug and said to Woohoo, all proud, "Tonight at the Autumn Tide Festival, I'll consider choosing you as my male too." Hearing this, Woohoo was overjoyed. "Being chosen by you is my honor." Yan Yao watched this pair from afar and just wanted to let it go. A moment of peace, and taking a step back gives you more room. "You scheming little brat. Just wait and see." Tonight, he was going to shine and stun everyone. And with his stunning looks, he'd win the heart of Yinling, the tribe's strongest warrior. Yinling was famous in the tribe as a top hunter, but because of his disability, he was treated like an outcast by the tribe, because not only could he not shift between beast and human forms, he also kept some beast traits, and everyone said he couldn't have children and couldn't produce offspring. But wasn't that exactly what Yan Yao wanted? Now that winter was coming, if he didn't rely on someone else's protection, his life and his virtue wouldn't be safe. And tonight was the annual Autumn Tide Festival, when the tribe would distribute the last food of the season, and also assign all the unmated females to the single male warriors of the tribe. Beauty really was a weapon, but it had to be used in the right place. Yan Yao never wanted to use anyone, but he just wanted to survive. Before that, though, he needed to find wild corn seeds at the market to complete his task. Since there were many herbivore beastmen, there were plenty of stalls selling plant fruits, so there were many fruits similar to corn. But ancient fruits were different from modern ones. These fruits were small and straight-stemmed. Luckily, they weren't too different in taste and smell. Yan Yao stopped at a merfolk uncle's stall. He picked up the fruits one by one to inspect them, occasionally giving them a sniff. Buy it or leave. So dirty and ugly. The merfolk uncle, wrapped in seaweed, snapped at Yan Yao in annoyance. Sorry, just looking. As he spoke, under the stall owner's warning glare, he quickly grabbed a short stick-shaped fruit with reddish-brown kernels. The fruit, the big hammer codex, finally chimed after a long time. Because the codex cover had a hammer pattern, Yan Yao simply called it the Big Hammer System. At that moment, block text appeared before Yan Yao's eyes. Collection complete, points awarded. Housekeeping and points shop unlocked. Codex entry lit up. Reward being issued. Please check. The next second, a stack of 100 gold coins and a folded, square light blue paper appeared in Yan Yao's pocket. Yan Yao had no time to get excited, before quickly pulling out a shell coin as the merfolk uncle was about to lose it. I'll take this one. Under the vendor's surprised gaze, Yan Yao grabbed two apple-like fruits and stuffed them into his clothes. Then he quickly walked away. Only then did he breathe easy. He was all alone. And suddenly having this much money, he had to hide it well. Yan Yao ducked into the communal straw hut, the shelter he'd been assigned. It could barely fit a single straw bedroll. The females in the communal hut all belonged to the tribe. Some had been captured by the tribe, some had been found, and some had come on their own. No matter how they got there, their main duty was to help the tribe reproduce. Females born into the tribe could choose whichever male they liked, but the females in the communal hut had no say. They could only be chosen by males. That was the main reason Yan Yao purposely made himself look ugly. If he didn't hide his looks, he'd probably already be dragged off to a mating den by some male. He crouched down and laid the blueprint on the ground. Right now, he had a 4 by 40 meter plot of land for planting, and the land could be moved anytime. Even if he moved later, it wouldn't be affected. His current task was to collect rattan, ramie, and cotton. Once collected, he'd get the blueprint for a weaving machine. Yan Yao really did need comfortable clothes. He was already sick of the itchy vine-made outfit he was wearing. Yan Yao then opened the points shop. He found that points could be used not just for supplies, but also to awaken Beastman bloodlines. With just 10 points, he could awaken a random low-tier bloodline, like civet cat, chipmunk, or weasel. Once awakened, it can't be changed. He could have a Beastman bloodline. That got Yan Yao excited. If he could become a Beastman too, he'd definitely have more protection. But for now, points were one issue. More importantly, he didn't like any of those options. What if he became a small-eyed, long-tailed rat? No fighting power at all. He'd even gross himself out. For now, he'd stay human. Maybe after the shop levels up, there'd be higher-tier bloodlines. But as things stood, he didn't have a home of his own. Even if he wanted to use the blueprint and plant, he'd need a place to grow things. He'd asked around before. Yinling had never been interested in females. He had to find a way to win him over. Yan Yao used a basin of clean water to wash the mud off his face. His skin was like a peeled egg, smooth and fair. Yan Yao had been good-looking since he was little. His beauty wasn't aggressive. It was light and delicate. But Yan Yao started worrying about his looks again. What if Yinling didn't accept him tonight? Then he'd be completely done for. Yan Yao sighed at his reflection in the water. Just then, hurried footsteps sounded outside the door. Yan Yao quickly put on his crooked vine-woven hat. The brim was low, with dried leaves hanging down on both sides. He'd worn this hat a few times before. It hid his face without drawing curiosity. At that moment, Hu LV, dressed in skimpy, fiery clothes, stood outside the house. It's the middle of the night and you're out in the sun again? Yan Yao, that hat makes you look even weirder. Just take it off. Otherwise only weak, old males will pick you. You won't end up living well. No need, the wind and sand at night are rough. They make my eyes sting. Yan Yao lowered his head even more. He made up an excuse to brush it off. Until he saw Yinling. He didn't want anyone to see his face. The festival gathering was held at the ceremonial plaza in the center of the tribe. Before, as an outsider female, Tian, he wasn't allowed to be here. But now he stood up there with a dozen other outsider females. A crowd of beastmen watched from below. Their eyes were like those of people inspecting goods, sweeping over them again and again. It felt awful. But Yu Yi stood tall and confident, not shy at all. Since he was willing to show off his charm, Yan Yao was happy to hide behind him. His small frame was almost completely hidden. At that moment, Yi smiled and nudged Yan Yao with his elbow. In a bit, a lot of males will probably want to pick me as their mate. Help me pick one out too. I want the strongest warrior, hoping for a better life. He thought about never having to eat skin and organs again. Even his yellowed teeth seemed to shine. Yan Yao gave a short reply, but his gaze drifted toward the village entrance. Why isn't the hunting party back yet? Nothing happened, right? Honestly, his heart was full of worry. If something happened to Yinling and he couldn't make it back, where is he supposed to find something to cover his face now? Even if he could still disguise himself, he didn't want to lose his innocence tonight. Time passed by little. Everyone started to feel like something was off. Why hasn't the strongest hunting party come back yet? The young warriors, if something happened to them, for a tribe with as many enemies as theirs, it would be the heaviest blow. Yan Yao and the others were called down from the altar. The chief, along with several high-ranking females, began a strange prayer dance on the altar, praying for the hunting party's safe return. They're back. The beast god has blessed us. The hunting party actually caught a blade-fang beast. A young beastman shouted. In an instant, the heavy tension vanished. All that remained was the roar of celebration from the crowd. Yan Yao, squeezed in the crowd, grew curious. What the heck is a blade-fang beast? Until he saw from a distance a striking young man walking over. In his hands, he was dragging some massive unknown creature. Under the bright moonlight, his figure stood tall and straight. He moved like the wind. As he got closer, Yan Yao could finally see the creature he was dragging was a Trudon. If he hadn't seen Jurassic period stuff, he'd never have recognized that thing. His cold, icy gaze swept across the crowd, finally landing on the chief, Yugu. The white ears hidden beneath his long silver hair stood straight up. His voice was cold and sharp. I hunted the blade-fang beast on my own. According to tribal rules, it can't be shared. I'm leaving. Those words instantly stirred up a storm. Yinling, what do you mean? Blade-fang beast is the most delicious food. You're trying to keep it all for yourself? That's too much. The spoiled Die Hong was the first to voice her displeasure. Usually, no matter what food the hunting party brought back, as the chief's daughter, she always got her share. She hadn't had tasty blade-fang meat in years. She was thrilled when she first saw it. But now he was saying no sharing? That can't be right. Exactly. You don't even have a mate. What does a crippled beastman need so much food for? Just to let it rot? The chief's daughter, Luda, chimed in. The mockery was way too obvious. In an instant, everyone started voicing their complaints, their eyes full of greed for the blade-fang beast. Yinling's icy blue eyes began shifting into wild, beast-like pupils. That was a sign he was about to lose his temper. Just then, the old shaman Sebo stepped up to Yinling. On the surface, he seemed to be mediating. But really, he was repaying kindness with spite. It was pretty irritating. Usually, the tribe's higher-ups get a quarter of the hunting party's food. The rest is split evenly based on contribution. Yinling is strong in battle. He can hunt on his own. Yet he still shares like everyone else. He's already getting the short end of the stick. The other meat is partly my work too. I don't need any of that. But this blade-fang beast is mine and mine alone. Yinling's voice turned even colder. Still, it was a big step back. Maju glanced over. As the dozen or so kills were carried into the tribe, hesitation clear in his eyes. Just as he was about to nod, Die Hong rushed up and shook his arm. Dad, I want the lean blade-fang meat. He's just a disabled beastman. How could he eat all that? Such tender lean meat should be shared with every female in the tribe, Die Hong said, then turned and shot Yinling a glare. The other females figured she had a point and started chiming in about the lean meat too. Yinling's so stingy. Even if he's got some hunting skill, it's hard to respect a nasty disabled beastman like him. He'll never have a female of his own. All kinds of nasty remarks came pouring out. To Yinling, it felt like a heavier weight pressing down. It stung her heart. She watched the boy's pointed crimson ears droop slightly. His thick, crow-dark lashes completely hid the color in his eyes. Is he upset because he's being pushed out? Maybe it's just a difference in taste. But Yan Yao didn't think the big shot was disabled at all. And 001 was so striking you'd call him one of a kind at first glance. If she went over right now and said she wanted to be his female, would that work? But this whole scene was nothing like she'd pictured. She'd planned to meet him, sneak him away for a private moment, then offer her gift and plead her case nicely. Even if he said no, she had a backup plan. She had the scope. She could even pay him to let her stay a few days. After all, nobody turns down money. But right now, the big shot was clearly in a terrible mood. What if she went up and he just shoved her away? Suddenly, the young man let go. The heavy blade fang beast hit the ground with a thud. If you all want to fight over this blade fang beast and make the hunting team unfair, then I'm quitting the hunting team for good. No, I don't agree, the chief and the shaman said at the same time. If Yinling left the hunting team, the tribe would lose way too much. Plus, he just hunted a blade fang beast, which proved his fighting ability in human form was stronger than ever. That also meant he'd bring even more benefits to the tribe. The silver scale hunting team is all about fairness. Nobody's trying to take your kill. But you don't have a female. And you can't eat a whole blade fang beast by yourself. I can give you 50 scopes for it. Consider it sold to the tribe. Yinling looked up at the chief on the high platform and said stubbornly, so what if I don't have a female? I need this blade fang beast. And I hunted it all by myself. I won't agree to any other arrangement. If the chief still thinks the hunting team should be fair, then I'm taking my kill and leaving. With that, he picked up the meat and started to walk away. The crowd erupted. The females sneered, saying Yinling didn't know what was good for him. And the taunt started up again. Meanwhile, the males thought Yinling rejecting the chief's offer was a direct challenge to the chief's authority. Several males from the guard shifted into beast form, baring their teeth at him, as if they'd attack the moment he moved. The tension was about to snap. Things got awkward. Hey, Yinling the Brave! Can I be your female? Yan Yao, wearing a hat, suddenly ran out from the crowd. His voice was sweet and soft, totally different from the rough, hoarse tone before. He'd been putting on a gruff voice earlier. But if he didn't make a move now, the guy would leave. Then what was he even doing? The thought of confessing first made Yan Yao a little shy. He lowered his head and jogged up to Yinling, summoning all his courage, and said softly, I like you. Can I be your female? Yinling's cold expression didn't change, but the fluffy snow-white ears hidden in his hair suddenly twitched. Yan Yao, are you crazy? You'd pick Yinling as your male just to eat blade beast meat? Da Hong wouldn't let the blade beast thing go. Looking at him half annoyed, half amused. Annoyed because if Yinling had a female, no matter who it was, storing meat to provide for her would be totally normal. That way, they really wouldn't get a single bite of blade beast. Amused, because Yan Yao seemed to have caught half-beast madness. Just for meat, he'd pick a beastman who was both disabled and shunned by everyone. I'm not doing it for the meat. I genuinely like Yinling. She's pretty. Yan Yao silently cursed Da Hong. He prayed that Yinling wouldn't reject him because of what Da Hong said. To clear the air, she repeated herself loudly again. Really? Yan Yao's face was bright red right now. So embarrassed she could have dug herself a hole. But facing a beastman, she had to be this direct. She couldn't exactly recite poetry, right? They wouldn't understand it anyway. But why wasn't he moving at all? Come on, man. Just say yes to my confession already. Yi ran out and stared at Yan Yao in shock. Come back. Yan Yao, he's a disabled beast. He won't live much longer. Let's pick a healthy male instead. She was genuinely trying to talk Yan Yao out of it. Sure, Yinling was good looking, but disabled beastmen never lived long. Plus, they'd get looked down on. Someone as dirty and smelly as him. Do you really think other males would want him? Picking a crippled beast actually fits him perfectly. Da Hong, who'd missed out on the blade beast meat, was fuming. He narrowed his beady eyes and sneered. That's right, Yan Yao's the dirtiest, ugliest female around. They're perfect for each other. The other beast females chimed in. The topic of this gathering had gone from who gets the blade beast to how dirty he was. Some even said he was like a wild boar, loving to roll around in filth. Yan Yao was so mad she could burst. She didn't care about saving face before, but right now she couldn't lose face in front of him. Yan Yao was about to explain, when suddenly the big shot's thin lips parted. Before he could even get the two words out, Yan Yao's first thought was that he was about to reject her confession. So she just pulled off her hat, pulled out a heart-shaped apple from her chest, and said urgently, I'm not ugly. And I don't stink. This is my gift for you. Accept me. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The whole leopard den went crazy. Is she a beast god? Is she the sea dragon goddess? She's so beautiful. How can such a gorgeous female exist in this world? Under the moonlight, the girl shone like a luminous pearl. Her features were delicate and refined. Her glowing white skin seemed to shimmer with light. It was enough to drive any man crazy. But the praise didn't make Yan Yao happy at all. Because the big shot right in front of her was staring at her face. His cold brows furrowed. In Yinling's mind, a female this beautiful didn't belong to someone like him. Besides, he didn't need a female anyway. Yinling reached out and took the red fruit from her hand. But the next second, he drew the blade at his waist. With a sharp slice, the blade beast's hind leg was cut off in one swing. Yinling held out the dinosaur leg, still steaming, to Yan Yao. In exchange, take this leg. You don't need to do this. His clear voice carried less coldness now, but more distant calm. Whether this female's confession was real or fake, at least he didn't make her feel disgusted. Yan Yao stared at the bloody leg, completely speechless. So he really thought she confessed just for the meat? All around were males watching hungrily. If she rejected him now, he'd totally lose it. Her reputation would be ruined. She did not want to get dragged into some dark room. Yan Yao had no choice. She gritted her teeth and closed her eyes, ignoring the shocked looks from the crowd, and rushed up to hug the young beastman's waist. In a pitiful, muffled voice, she said, "I don't want the lean meat. I just want you to be my male, okay?" Everyone was stunned. They were all frozen in shock. Such a beautiful woman was throwing herself at a crippled beast everyone looked down on, throwing herself into his arms. It was truly unbelievable. "Yan Yao, he doesn't want you. Pick me instead." A male from the crowd frantically flexed his impressive biceps. "No, Yan Yao, choose me." Another male jumped in. Plenty of single beastmen started showing off, not wanting to be outdone. The scene was an eyesore. But Yan Yao had no time to look at them. Right now, she was like an ostrich, completely buried in the young man's chest. Her heart rate was definitely over 120. Fear and nervousness, making his whole body tremble uncontrollably. But the young man's heartbeat was eerily calm. "Please, please don't push her away." With a clatter, the leg Silver Bell was holding dropped to the ground. Yan Yao suddenly felt weightless. Silver Bell had picked her up with just one arm. The young man kept a straight face, calmly picking up the meat and the leg. His icy blue eyes swept sharply across the crowd. He warned them in a cold tone, "Yan Yao is my mate." One sentence claimed Yan Yao outright. Outsiders without a male's choice really had no say. But if it was a mutual choice, then no one could stand in the way. That was the tribe's rule. Even the chief couldn't force a pair apart. The beastmen below were furious, but all they could do was glare at Silver Bell as he carried Yan Yao away. They looked at Yan Yao. What was so great about a short-lived cripple like Silver Bell? Seriously, what was the point? Right then, Yan Yao's racing heart had practically jumped out of her chest. On one hand, she was beyond excited. She finally had a real place to farm. On the other hand, she was a little scared. Silver Bell was way too strong. Was he really disabled? Could she even survive the night? Yan Yao braced for the worst. Even if the young man was perfectly normal, as long as he didn't hurt her, he was still better than those ugly losers. What can she say? She's a sucker for a pretty face. She follows her heart. He'd tried his best to pick the safest path for himself. As for everything else, it was up to fate. Before she knew it, Yinling had stopped at the front door. He set Yan Yao down outside. In the dark, he quietly pulled out a big wooden board and used a sharp stone knife to cut up the dinosaur meat. Yan Yao stood to the side, too stunned to move. Under the cold moonlight, the blood in the young man's hair, his ears twitching constantly, as if he was always listening for danger around him. He pressed his pale pink lips together, focused on handling the meat. His hands moved quickly and skillfully. He didn't seem to care what she did. They stood there in awkward silence for 10 minutes. Then, done with the meat, Yinling suddenly stood up and spoke in a soft voice. "You seem really scared of other males, but I can't protect you. So, are you trying to escape the Storm Tribe?" Yan Yao was caught off guard. He actually figured it out. This guy seemed smarter than the other beastmen. Maybe her behavior earlier really did seem weird to him. "But you're too weak. Running away from here will get you killed," Yinling added coldly. He didn't think Yan Yao actually liked him. But she probably didn't mean him any harm either. After all, no female would be crazy enough to hug a disabled beast. He didn't know why he'd helped her earlier. Maybe it was her eyes, her nose, her lips, or maybe because he was the first one to take her in. He didn't really want a troublesome female around. A weak female was nothing but a burden to him. Yan Yao lowered her head. She let out a small She agreed with what Yinling had just said. If she ran away and ran into a beastman with bad intentions, that'd be the better case. But if she ran into a dinosaur like the one from before, she'd be dead several times over. Those novels were all lies. The real wild out there wasn't safe at all. An ordinary person couldn't possibly handle those dangers. Why can't you protect me? I can help you with work. Yan Yao couldn't help asking. He could catch a dinosaur after all. Which meant he was seriously strong. My life is short. I'm going to die. Yinling lifted his head. His tone flat. No disabled beastman has ever lived past 20 winters. He'd already made it through 19. Yan Yao was silent for a moment. She saw a hint of desolation in his eyes. And a hollow emptiness that showed no attachment to this world. She didn't understand what his disability really was. Too bad she only had the big hammer system. No medical system. There was no way she could help him. Can I look around here? Yan Yao smiled gently at Yinling. Maybe it was because her smile was so sincere and friendly. Yinling's thick lashes lowered slightly, hiding the emotion in his eyes. He nodded. Then he picked up the big wooden basin and headed to the river to wash the dinosaur meat. Yan Yao relaxed. She looked over the house built from sand, stone, and clay. But she didn't go inside. Instead, she went around to the back of the house. Behind the house was a large patch of flat land. A field with nothing planted in it. But the weeds had been pulled out by Yinling. He must really like things clean. While he wasn't looking, Yan Yao pulled out the blue soil. She used it to create a patch of farmland. Then she planted the wheat, soybeans, and rice she'd unlocked. She used her last 5 points to buy a ton of spring water to water the crops. The system said she'd harvest 200 pounds of grain in 28 days. Winter was still over a month away. With this, winter should be a lot easier. Yan Yao stood up and looked toward the river. Yinling was no longer there. Only the wooden basin full of meat was still sitting by the water. She walked toward the riverbank, confused. The night breeze lifted her hair. Sharp reeds swayed along the shore. Fireflies drifted all around. The scene before her made her feel like everything was going to be peaceful and beautiful. Don't come here. From deep in the dense reeds, Yinling's cold, sharp voice suddenly cut through. Yan Yao turned to look and froze in fear. He was standing half naked in the water. From Yan Yao's angle, she could see 2 long, bloody wounds on his pale, toned waistline. And around the wounds, dozens of black leeches were squirming. Yan Yao went pale with shock. She remembered when she'd been digging lotus roots before. The spot where a leech had latched on got infected and festered for a long time. What are you doing? Your skin will rot like that. Yan Yao shouted urgently. He wanted to jump in and pull him out. But those bloody leeches were just too disgusting. His skin crawled. His stomach churned. So he carefully reached out his hand toward him. Come on, get out of there. Yinling stared at the hand reaching for him. His ice blue eyes, clear as glass, flickered. With a moment of confusion. Under the pure, unstained moonlight, his pale hand looked so clean and sacred. Why is he so worried? Is he actually concerned about him? Seeing the big shot cold-faced and in heat, Yan Yao was freaking out inside. If something happened to him, the good life she'd just imagined would be over before it even began. Honestly, if it weren't for the disgusting black leech still hanging on his stunningly handsome face, Yan Yao would have totally fallen for his crazy good looks. Blade Fang Beast's teeth are poisonous. These leeches help draw out the poison blood. Yinling didn't take Yan Yao's hand. Instead, he turned around, plucked off the black leeches one by one, and casually popped them with his fingers. Yan Yao suddenly understood what he meant, and felt a little awkward too. Watching him like that was like peeking at someone while they bathed. To hide the blush creeping up her cheeks, she quickly hurried over to the wooden basin full of meat. Oh, then let me carry the basin back for you. But she overestimated her own strength. She actually tried to lift that heavy wooden basin. After several failed attempts, he was sweating buckets. I can't seem to lift this. I'll head home and wait for you. Without waiting for a reply, Yan Yao bolted. So embarrassing. He wished he could crawl into a hole. But what he'd just done stirred something strange in Yinling. He thought she was really pretty. And her voice was so soft, so cute. She said she'd wait for him at home. It gave Yinling a weird feeling. Even the fur hidden underwater. His beast tail couldn't help but wag a few times. Back at the cabin, Yan Yao started worrying. There was only one bed in the place. If he slept in the bed at night, Then where would Yinling sleep? Thinking about it, he found a piece of animal hide. He spread it on the floor and lay down. He'd been running around the market all day. Now he was hungry and exhausted. Before long, Yan Yao, wrapped in a big soft fur, curled up in the corner and fell asleep. It was the fastest he'd fallen asleep since crossing over. He dreamed Yinling roasted lots of fragrant lean meat. The meat was tender, sizzling with grease. It made him drool. Meanwhile, Yinling carried the basin of meat back inside. The reason he wanted the blade beast meat was because he'd accidentally discovered earlier that beast meat contained a special kind of energy. After eating it, not only did he move faster, but his once weak body grew strong again. He even felt that as long as he could keep eating blade beast meat, he could survive past 20 winters, maybe even longer. But today, when everyone was calling him out, for a brief moment, he wanted to give up, until he suddenly showed up, giving him a legitimate reason to keep the blade beast meat. His gentle gaze swept over the female sleeping peacefully in the corner. A sweet smile tugged at her lips, like she was dreaming of something wonderful. Yinling didn't know what could make her so happy. But soon, drool started dripping from her mouth, slowly sliding down her flawless pale cheek. Yinling froze for a moment, as if a stunning tenderness welled up from deep within his eyes. His cold, sharp features softened. His pale lips curved up slightly. She smiled so beautifully. If Yan Yao had seen it, she would have thought his smile was charming enough to bewitch anyone. The next morning, Yan Yao woke up feeling something wet on her neck. Oh man, he didn't see that, right? Then, the cooked meat wrapped in leaves on the ground caught her eye. Yinling had left it for her. Ugh, he definitely saw me drooling. So embarrassing. She ate while replaying last night's scene in her head. He lost so much blood. She should go to the market and buy something to help him recover. Yan Yao headed into the yard, thinking about it. Yinling was chopping trees in the nearby woods. Just seeing him there made Yan Yao feel completely at ease. But she didn't want to bother him either. Yan Yao sat at the entrance of the yard, nibbling on the lean meat. Her stomach was weak, and she'd been going hungry lately, so she couldn't eat too fast, or her stomach would hurt. When she saw Yinling carrying a long log over, she greeted him with a bright smile. Good morning, Yinling. Thanks for the food. Yinling's beast ears twitched slightly. He turned his head to glance at her, then nodded seriously. She ate the food he gave her, and smiled to thank him. Before, when he caught food, his tribe members never thanked him. Even when weak beastmen from other tribes thanked him, they'd look at him with fear. But her smile made him feel warm. For the first time, his empty heart felt filled with a warm current. Can we go to the market later? Seeing that he seemed to be in a good mood, Yan Yao tilted her head and asked. But Yinling's body suddenly stiffened. His round pupils instantly narrowed into sharp slits. Yan Yao's heart skipped a beat. She'd made him angry. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just asking. Don't be mad. Yan Yao didn't know why he reacted that way, but she knew when to back down. So she apologized right away. Yinling frowned slightly, but his voice was calm. Sure, is there something you want? I'll take you to get it. For a long time now, every time he left the house, people around him would mock and insult him. Even though he was used to it, he suddenly didn't want her to hear it. But maybe it didn't matter anyway. She'd probably leave him eventually and pick a healthier male instead. If you don't want to go, then we won't. Yan Yao sounded sincere. She didn't really want to buy anything specific, just wanted to grab some vegetables and make meat soup to help Yinling regain his strength. Besides, her mission required her to search the forest. To go into the forest, she needed to stick close to Yinling. She really didn't want to get eaten by a dinosaur, so keeping him healthy was important. Since the big shot didn't want to go to the market, she might as well head back to the communal house. Her bag was still there. I'm gonna head back to the communal house to grab something. But just as she said that, his face, carrying a faint herbal scent, brushed unexpectedly against her forehead. Yinling suddenly turned his head for some reason, and their faces ended up pressed together. Yan Yao's face turned bright red. This romance was moving way too fast. They hadn't even held hands yet, and now they were about to kiss? But honestly, with a face that handsome, a kiss wasn't totally out of the question. His big red cat ears were right there, all fluffy and close, making Yan Yao want to touch them. They had to feel amazing. Just as Yan Yao was lost in her wonderful daydream, Yinling only rubbed his chin against her neck and cheek. HMPH, you need some of my scent on you. When you get back, I'll take you to the market. With that, he went back to working on the wood. Guess he was overthinking it. A cool, handsome big cat was only natural. At least he really treated him well, gave him food and freedom, and was willing to take him out. I'm heading out. Yan Yao walked briskly toward the communal house. He knew Yinling had just marked him with his scent to protect him. If you run into danger, call my name. The young man's voice was soft, but Yan Yao, just a few steps away, heard it clearly. He turned back and gave a cheerful mmhm. That solid sense of security. It felt amazing. Yan Yao didn't actually have much stuff in the communal house. When he'd crossed over, his designer bag, along with the makeup and phone inside it, had come with him. The phone had long since died. But if he could find a way to charge it, it'd be useful. He had a novel app on his phone. Back when he was studying for the Agricultural Institute exam, he downloaded a bunch of books offline, including ones on farming techniques for both North and South, with detailed coverage of land use and irrigation. Sure, he had a farming system, but these books could still be valuable here. Hey, you're Yan Yao, right? You didn't actually sleep with that silkworm beast last night, did you? The rough voice cut through Yan Yao's thoughts. Blocking his path was the chief's oldest son, Lan He, with 3 burly guys behind him. That's none of your business. I'm already his mate. Yan Yao tried to walk past them. Lan He's eyes swept over Yan Yao's delicate face. His heart itched like crazy. He could smell Yinling's scent on her. In the tribe, you couldn't take a female who already belonged to someone. Yan Yao, if you became ours, you wouldn't have to wear rough vines. You could wear jewel necklaces like Die Hong. Just then, another male behind Lan He spoke up. He was the elder's son, Yang Guang. Next to him was his brother, Wan Xing. They and Lan He were the only single guys left in the tribe. I don't need any of that. Yan Yao couldn't be bothered. She quickened her pace and left. HMPH, brothers. Let's take out that crippled beast. He doesn't deserve such a beautiful female. Watching Yan Yao walk away, Lan He snorted coldly. We'll ask him to hunt with us tomorrow. Find a chance to get rid of him. Once we're outside the tribe, no one will know it was us. Yang Guang chimed in. His vicious look was anything but gentle. Right, can't let him waste a beautiful females this season. Once the silkworm guy's gone, we fight it out. Winner gets Yan Yao and the pups, Wan Xing added quickly. The other two heard his idea and nodded in agreement. But Yan Yao, hiding in the grass, heard everything. She knew these guys were up to no good. She had to find a way to tell Yinling. Head. Yan Yao felt a pang of guilt. It was all his fault for bringing trouble. The jealousy of Beastmen was terrifying. If she fell into their hands, she'd definitely be treated like a baby machine. Yan Yao made up her mind. She needed to get stronger. She had to work hard on the farm, save up points to trade for a powerful bloodline. That was the only way to truly protect herself. Before that, though, she had to keep Yinling safe. The moment Yan Yao got back to the communal house, all the females around started trash-talking her. Some said she only picked a crippled beast for the blade-edge lean meat. Others said she had a screw loose. Even Yu Yi joined in, pointing fingers at her. Grab her right now. Get her, came a rough shout from outside the door. It was Die Hong's gruff voice. And behind her, she'd brought a whole crew of big, burly females. Yan Yao couldn't figure out what grudge Die Hong had against her. Was it because last night she chose Yinling and didn't let her have any dinosaur meat? Honestly, that dinosaur meat was bland anyway. It tasted pretty much like regular meat. A smart woman doesn't fight a crazy dog. Yan Yao took off running, light on her feet. She easily dodged the chubby females lunging at her. Just as she was about to crash into Die Zhang, she stuck out her foot and tripped her. Die Zhang face planted hard. In no time, Yan Yao had put a good 30 feet between them, leaving the onlookers stunned. Is this female crazy? She actually dared to fight back against Die Zhang? Low-class trash female. Stop right there. Or I'll beat you every time I see you. Die Zhang picked himself up off the ground. Her fancy sea gauze dress was torn with a long gash. Watching Yan Yao run off into the distance, Die Hong was so mad her face turned purple. She stormed up to Yu Yi and slapped him hard across the face. You were closest to her. Why didn't you grab her? She kicked Yu Yi again. Yu Yi knelt there crying, looking pitiful. Noble Die Hong. I didn't dare. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Die Hong was a powerful female. Her status was high. Crossing Die Hong, meant crossing every male in the shaman family. Da Hong glared with disgust at the cowardly Yu Yi, then swept her furious, triangular eyes over the silent outsider females. And all of you. Are you all idiots? Why didn't you grab her earlier? The outsider females all went quiet. Each one hung their head in fear. Meanwhile, Yenya ran toward home, clutching her bag. On the way, she ran into Yinling standing under a big tree, almost like he was waiting. Yenya broke into a sweet smile. Yinling, what are you doing here? Yinling's beast ears twitched. He looked at out-of-breath Yenya with a strange expression. I heard arguing from the group house. But you didn't call my name. Yenya didn't expect his hearing to be that good. That was actually kind of sweet. He really did want to protect her. I think I caused you a lot of trouble. Yanyao's heart was racing with joy. But as she walked up to him, she was still scared, guilty, and nervous. She'd caused trouble on the very first day of their bond. What if he didn't want her anymore? Yinling's brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. What happened? His calm, quiet voice carried an unexpected hint of gentleness. Yanyao told him everything about the group house. She figured Yinling and Da Hong never got along anyway, so ticking off Da Hong wasn't that big a deal. But tearing Da Hong's clothes probably meant paying for them. She'd earned some coins from doing tasks. But as a weak outsider female, pulling out that many coins at once would definitely raise suspicion. So she thought she could give the coins to Yinling. If Da Hong really made a fuss and demanded compensation, then Yinling could just pay him for her. It's fine. We'll sell the blade beast fangs at the market later. They'll fetch a good price. We'll get you a new one. Yinling turned around, saying it like it was no big deal. After laying out the solution, he seemed done with the conversation and headed toward the house. Yanyao followed behind him, not sure what to say. The big shot didn't seem bothered at all. His sense of responsibility as a husband moved her deeply. But at the same time, she felt oddly annoyed. After all, Da Hong was the one who started it. It wasn't that she thought Yinling handled it wrong. She just felt off. That's only fair. Back home, Yanyao drank 2 bowls of dinosaur meat soup. And the frustration in her heart faded away. She didn't expect Yinling to have made breakfast and waited for her. So the grilled meat skewers this morning were just to tide her over. This sudden feeling of being treated gently made her heart flutter. She kept sneaking glances at the big shot's cute ears and pale, cold profile. He was almost too handsome to be real. She wanted to know more about him. Did he really only have such a short life? Maybe she was being too sentimental. She'd only known him for a day. And already she didn't want to lose him. Yinling noticed she was staring at him. Before Yanyao could finish the meat in her bowl, he set his wooden bowl down first. I'll go pack up. Take your time eating. He was a beastman with sharp senses. He noticed Yanyao kept staring at his beast ears and his eyes. It made him want to hide, to get out of her sight. Yinling left with clear displeasure, leaving Yanyao totally confused. Was he mad that she ate too much? Last night he wouldn't even share her with the other beastmen. Sigh, she'd eat less next time. And about the 3 Amli people trying to ambush him this morning. She needed to find the courage to tell him. She hoped that once he knew, he wouldn't kick her out. After eating, Yanyao went to the river to wash the pots and bowls. Yanyao was packing things outside the house. She was getting ready to go to the market. When Yanyao came back carrying the pots and bowls, Yanyao noticed he was staring at her again. He took a straw hat off the wooden wall and put it on. Nuan walked up, feeling annoyed, but still managed a smile at her. But inside, he was restless and a little on edge. After she put her things away, Yinling was ready to take her to the market. Yanyao happily followed behind Yinling. We're going to the market to shop. The girl's eyes were bright and cheerful, her smile blooming like a flower. It made Yinling think that she'd be happy with him. Maybe she really was happy. But once she heard people whispering about them, would she still be this happy? At the market, the two walked side by side. People around them started murmuring. But Yanyao didn't care at all. Then Yinling pulled a small bag of sunflower seeds from his pocket and handed them to Yanyao to try. He knew a lot of females liked these. He figured she would too. Yanyao paused, then took the seeds. She quickly glanced at his profile. Wow, the big guy was being sweet again. But she hadn't done anything for him. She didn't deserve this. These were pretty valuable. Maybe she could sell them later for some money. Yanyao wasn't that greedy. She shyly tucked the seeds into her bag. I've never had a female before. I never thought to stock up on little snacks. From now on, when I go to the forest, I'll save them all and bring them back for you. Yinling looked into the distance, his voice clear and calm. But his words made Yan Yao's heart skip a beat. He basically meant, go ahead and eat. We won't run out of snacks from now on. That was such a smooth move. Shipping them, absolutely shipping them. Even the unroasted ones smell good. Yan Yao munching on seeds instantly drew jealous stares from the Beastmen. You see? A bag of seeds could buy a plump Dunlu. That's enough to feed a normal family for days. And these seeds were only meant for high-ranking tribe females. Yan Yao was just wasting them so extra. But so what? Let them be jealous. Yan Yao didn't care, she had someone to lean on. But her feet were starting to hurt. The beach market was still an hour away. Her itchy vine sandals were making her feet go numb. Yinling noticed and led her to rest under a tree. Yinling, there's no sun here. Do you want to? Take your hat off. Yan Yao sat on a rock, trying to make conversation. She spoke up, Yinling. His ears twitched slightly. So it wasn't that she didn't want to see his ears. Yinling was always quiet by habit. Yan Yao felt a little awkward. Oh, there's something I didn't tell you. Yinling looked at her, confused. Because he'd been alone for so long. He wasn't good at responding to others. Sometimes he'd go a whole month without saying a word, silent for too long. Old habits are hard to break. I wanted to say. Those 3 guys who asked you to hunt with them tomorrow morning. They're not good people. They're trying to hurt you. Don't agree to anything they say. Yan Yao finished speaking and carefully watched Yinling's expression. Seeing he didn't look annoyed, she felt a little relieved. Yinling remembered the insults from this morning and gave a soft That was his reply. Yan Yao was puzzled. That's it? Still, she kept apologizing sincerely. It's all my fault for causing you so much trouble. But I really do need your protection. I'll do my best to repay you however I can. Yinling turned around and gave another That shut Yan Yao up completely. She stared at his back, unable to tell what he was thinking. But Beastmen were always straightforward. If he was annoyed with her, he'd show it. Ugh, this handsome Beastman is perfect in every way. Except he barely talks. I can't read him at all. Actually, Yinling didn't understand why she was scared of the Beast clan leader. But she was already his chosen mate. Unless she gave him up, he wouldn't let anyone take her. And he'd protect her with his life. No one would touch her. Besides, he didn't see this as trouble Yan Yao brought him. This was just what a male should do. An hour later, they arrived at the seaside market. Because Yan Yao was stunningly beautiful, she drew many heated stares from Beastmen. Yinling suddenly stopped. He stopped, let me carry you. Yan Yao thought she misheard, huh? Yinling crouched down. He rested his strong arm on his knee. Hop on, little one. He's not playing by the rules. He actually offered to carry her? Yan Yao's heart pounded. Yinling thought she'd refuse. But she plopped right down onto his arm and easily wrapped her arms around his neck. She smiled at him, brighter than summer flowers in full bloom. Yinling stiffened. His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. The real reason he wanted to carry her was that he couldn't stand those males anymore, staring at Yan Yao with bold, hungry eyes, checking her out. She was his mate now. It was his duty to protect her. He wouldn't let anyone else get ahead of him in secret. Yinling hadn't even taken 8 steps before his hat got knocked off by Yan Yao's hand. Your hair is so soft. The culprit had zero remorse. She was completely lost in his smooth, silky silver hair. Especially those adorable little ears standing up. They melted her heart. She really wanted to pet those ears. But she had to hold back. They weren't that close yet. Everyone, look. He's the cursed beastman of the leopard clan. The leopard clan's gone crazy. They're pairing such a beautiful female with a cursed, disabled beastman? Yan Yao heard this. She was instantly furious. She noticed Yinling's beast ears were drooping back in shame. He must have been through so much over the years. No wonder he didn't want to come to the market. The mocking around them kept growing louder. Yan Yao's anger flared up instantly. What are you looking at? Who are you to talk about him like that? Look at yourselves. How dare you be so mean? Calling him a cursed beastman. I think you're the cursed ones. None of you are half the man my mate is. If you have any decency, act like people. If not, keep your mouths shut. The stunning girl's 3 sharp rebukes left the Beastmen completely stunned. Yinling was blown away too. He never expected her to stand up for him. And she was this angry about it. Whether she truly liked him or not, she was the first person who ever spoke up for him. He would remember this forever. His eyes turned cold as he glared at the Beastmen. The killing intent he released sent them shrinking back in fear. Beastmen are extremely sensitive to danger. With Yinling's skills, taking their lives would be child's play. That's how he became a key member of the hunting team. Despite being a disabled beast, Yinling, don't worry about what others say. From now on, we'll just live our own lives. Yan Yao comforted him in a soft voice, leaning close against him. I know. Before, he just tried to survive, trying not to care about people's cruelty and prejudice. But just now, she stood up for them. Suddenly, he wanted to live for a long, long time. Yan Yao's heart started racing under his gaze. This little tease, way too tempting. Can you put me down first? I want to buy some stuff. Yan Yao picked up some blood-nourishing vegetables at the market, then obediently followed Yinling to sell their goods. Blade beast fangs and some odds and ends. They earned over a dozen shell coins, and Yinling used the shell coins he earned to buy an expensive pink dress. Yan Yao thought he bought it to replace Da Hong's, but then Yinling suddenly said, go put it on. Why isn't it to replace Da Hong's? Yinling had no idea why she'd think. He bought clothes to pay Da Hong back. He'd noticed earlier that Yan Yao's delicate skin was getting chafed red by the vine clothes, so he wanted to get her something soft to wear. Yinling saw her hesitate, thinking she was worried about upsetting Da Hong, thinking she was worried about what to do about Da Hong. Don't worry, you're my chosen female. I'll protect you. With that, he reached out and patted her head reassuringly. Yan Yao's heart skipped another beat. A head pat from the big shot. Who could handle that? Thank you. Turn around first. I'm changing. A blush crept across Yan Yao's soft, pretty face. She didn't want to be embarrassed, but she really couldn't help it. Yinling obediently turned his back. Technically, she was his mate, and he was allowed to look. But when he saw her shy, flushed little face, he instinctively turned away anyway. His little female seemed really shy. I'm done, thank you. Yinling's voice was sweet and playful. Maybe she felt a little closer to the big shot now. As she spoke, she tugged at the hand hanging by his side. Let's go home. A brilliantly bright smile lit up Yinling's silver moon eyes. He turned his head and nodded slightly. Without giving Yan Yao time to react, he bent down and scooped her up again. Let's go home. Yan Yao felt the warmth in his clear voice. A strange warmth bloomed in her heart. The afternoon sun scattered lazily across the plains. Along the way, Yan Yao asked him to put her down and rest. But the big shot just ignored her. She was really bored. Like a bead on an abacus. So the bored Yan Yao just lay back, wrapping her arms around the big shot's neck and falling asleep. He smelled like fresh grass by the river. It was comforting. If she couldn't go back, living like this with him didn't seem so bad. The moment Yinling stepped into the Storm Banner tribe with Yan Yao, a group of beastmen were gathered at the entrance. Yinling, put down that stupid female right now. Give her back to the tribe. Da Hong shouted arrogantly. He couldn't wait to give Yan Yao a piece of his mind. If Yinling didn't want trouble, he'd just abandon her. He'd ruin her face before she found a new male. But the big scene he'd put together got only a single icy glare in response. Yinling carried the half-asleep Yan Yao and strode straight toward the tribe gates. The other females, scared by his cold stare, instinctively scattered out of the way. But Da Hong was hardly afraid of Yinling. He recklessly stretched out his arm to block the gate, not putting Yan Yao down. You're not getting past, but before he could finish, Yinling kicked him away with one swift move. Everyone's eyes went wide. Yinling was rebelling. He actually dared to hit a female. And a noble, helpless woman at that. Hearing the crowd's sharp gasps and the shouts all around, the half-asleep Yan Yao finally stirred awake. Yinling, you actually hit me. You'll be put to death for this. Da Hong lay on the ground, clutching his stomach in pain, tears streaming down his face. Yan Yao is my female. If you try to hurt her, I will attack you. With that, he walked away without looking back. Yan Yao had no idea what was going on. She peeked over Yinling's shoulder and saw Da Hong sprawled on the ground, wailing. Ho, did the big shot just beat him up? That's intense. The elder who rushed over helped his daughter up, heartbroken, his eyes at Yinling full of murderous intent. Yinling, you dared to lay hands on a female. You must kneel and apologize to him and accept the tribe's punishment. I was protecting my own female. Is that wrong? If you say, Da Hong hurting my female is allowed, then me attacking Da Hong should be allowed too. And after I attack him, I'm willing to accept a challenge from his mate. Yan Yao looked at the big shot, totally surprised. Man, that comeback was epic. In that moment, many females from other tribes were moved by Yinling's bold words and lost themselves for a moment. Why, when Da Hong bullied them, didn't their own males step up to protect them? The shaman's face went stiff. His lips moved. But no words of protest came out. He knew full well that in any tribe, females were supposed to be protected. When Da Hong bullied lower-ranked females, he always turned a blind eye. He knew it was wrong, and that even low-status females couldn't just be hurt for no reason. So you want to challenge me? Yinling held Yan Yao and swept a cold, sharp gaze across the males surrounding him. He didn't phrase it as a question. It was a statement he was really about to throw down. The males who'd been snarling a second ago all backed away. They knew all too well how fierce Yinling was in a fight. Go get him. Fight him. Seeing everyone hesitate, Da Hong panicked and barked orders at his males. Wuhu and Lei exchanged a look, then stepped forward. The two flanked Yinling, one in front, one behind. Put your female down. We won't hurt her like you would. Yan Yao didn't know what to do. They were really going to fight? What if the big shot got hurt? Before he could even finish the thought, Yinling set him down. He looked worried. Just like before, he reached out and patted his head. Stay back a bit. You have to be careful. Yan Yao lowered his head and backed away. At first, he just wanted to survive here. So he found someone strong. A male who wouldn't force himself on him. But that selfish goal made him feel guilty and uneasy. Now he was nothing but trouble for Yinling. The moment Yan Yao stepped away, Wuhu and Lei lunged at Yinling at the same time. Maybe because they were from the same tribe, Yinling didn't pull out his usual sharp bone blade. If the leopard's attack was like a roaring crack, then his swift figure was like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, Wuhu took a punch to the gut. Ribs cracked with a dull crunch. Lei, meanwhile, was pinned by a knee to the throat, letting out painful whimpers. The crowd watching was terrified. A beast that took the whole hunting team to take down. The blade hand leader took it down alone. Wasn't the strength obvious? That was exactly why the elder hadn't ordered an attack. But Da Hong was just that foolish. Yinling let go of the chief who'd rushed over. He quickly stopped. Maybe the chief's words worked. Yinling silently released Lei, who had no fight left. Covered in blood, he walked toward Yan Yao. Of course, the blood wasn't his. It was Wuhu's, whose condition was unknown. Yinling looked at the chief. He spoke coldly. Unless you can find stronger males to beat me, he doesn't deserve to bully my mate. I'll keep attacking him. Yinling's point was clear. Basically, without a strong male mate, you can't just go around bullying others. Even someone as high-ranking as Da Hong has to back it up with real strength. Of course, that also shut the chief up. Technically, Yinling attacking a female was against tribe rules, but his reason was protecting a female. That's a Beastman law above tribe rules. Da Hong bullying lower-class females wasn't new. Females are weak, so little scuffles never caused real trouble. But Yinling, once a crippled beast, had become a real thorn after getting a mate. The Yin family wasn't afraid of nobles. Bravely protecting his female changed how everyone saw him. Their looks were no longer scorn and disgust, but a complicated kind of respect. Even many males approved of what he did. After all, nobody wants their female bullied by nobles. They just didn't dare say it. Even if I did bully him, he ruined my expensive clothes first. He has to pay for that. He has to kneel and apologize. Da Hong shouted relentlessly. Yan Yao shot back. You guys tried to grab me. You were going to hit me, so I ran. Your clothes got ruined by accident. Tian, so who's really being unreasonable here? Da Hong's eyes burned with fury. You worthless female. I'm the tribe's future noble heir, Tian. If I say you pay, if I say kneel. Then he turned and shot a defiant look at Yinling. You all must submit to me. Otherwise, I'll banish you from the tribe. Yinling ignored him. Instead, he fixed a cold stare on the chief. Chief Bao stood coldly behind Da Hong. His displeasure was thick in the air. Da Hong was leaning on his noble status to bully them. But he missed one thing. The value Yinling brought to the tribe. Winter was coming soon. The flying fish in the Kijia River would soon migrate. Many tribes would go fishing. It was a main food source for many beastmen in winter. Tribes would fight hard over the best upstream spots. They'd often come to blows. Yinling was the strongest in the entire leopard tribe. With the fish migration coming up, Da Hong was actually trying to drive out the tribe's strongest fighter. Banish him. Is he insane? Yan Yao picked the perfect moment. Smart kid. The chief hasn't even weighed in yet. Who made you the judge of right and wrong? You're not even the shaman yet. Even if you were, only the chief has the right to banish tribe members. Or do you think you have that kind of power around here? That kind of authority? That's right. Even the chief has to respect me and my dad. Otherwise, my dad won't treat him and he'll die. If you don't kneel to me, you'll have to pay up or get out. Da Hong blurted out what he was really thinking. Clearly, he had no brain. One reckless comment stirred up a storm. The beastmen around them all stared at Da Hong with strange looks. Chief Fenyu heard Da Hong's arrogant words, and his face darkened. The Witch Pillar clan had precious knowledge. They could heal beastmen, so they got priority and used all the tribe's resources. But the Witch Pillar was just the Witch Pillar. He, the Black Panther Guyu, was the true king of this tribe. Da Hong, get back here. Look at how badly your mate is hurt. The old Witch Pillar knew how to read the room. Seeing the chief's cold aura, he quickly yelled at Da Hong. Da Hong still didn't get what he'd said wrong. When Lu Ta suddenly charged up with a dark face. Smack! A hard slap landed on Da Hong's face. My dad is the chief. Only he has the right to exile beastmen. Da Hong, you've gone way too far. Then the chief, who'd been holding back his anger, spoke up. Da Hong maliciously hurt the female guard squad. Arrest him and lock him up. No food for 3 days as punishment. Ignoring the old Witch Pillar's shocked look, he turned and walked away coldly. The whole mess ended in Da Hong's total defeat. Many low-rank females who'd been beaten by Da Hong stole glances at Yan Yao's face. With a hint of admiration, beautiful Yan Yao became the stubborn dream girl in many males' hearts. Guys just like girls who stand out. One by one, they watched her walk away. All eyes locked on her. They were probably all hoping this sickly Yinling would die soon. That way, he'd have a chance to snatch her up. Yan Yao and Yinling walked back in silence. Well, when they got home, it wasn't like they didn't talk. More like there was no conversation. Yan Yao awkwardly apologized to the big guy. But he just grunted, not really caring. And that was the end of that conversation. She had plenty to say, but she had no clue how to deal with a guy who barely talked. She was even more afraid that talking too much would annoy him. The moment Yinling got back to the cabin, he quietly started chopping wood in the yard. What are you doing? You've been busy all day, aren't you tired? How about we cook dinner together? Yan Yao shamelessly fired off 3 questions in a row, and even offered to cook. She genuinely felt bad seeing how pale his face was. Your bed still needs some vine rope to hold it together. Yan Yao's heart skipped a beat. She didn't expect him to be making her a bed frame. If you don't mind, I can share the bed with you for now. No rush, Yan Yao said softly. He stayed up late making her a bed frame. There was no need. Even if she slept on the floor, it was fine. His ears, hidden in his hair, twitched slightly backward. Are you trying to share a bed with me? Does he actually like me? Why is he kissing me again? Yan Yao was dazed from the kisses. Yan Yao was completely dazed. She wasn't sure if he kissed her because he liked her, or just to keep her as his pet. But her thoughts, under the teasing atmosphere, quickly fell apart. Colorful fireworks kept exploding in her head, burst after burst, dazzling and endless. Her breathing grew more and more ragged. The hand around her waist tightened. You're holding me too tight. Too tight. Yan Yao's face flushed red. She let out a soft, pitiful whimper. If his arm tightened any more, her bones would break. You can't tempt me. The little ears nestled in her hair drooped pitifully, as if Yan Yao had done something wrong to him. In Yinling's eyes, Yan Yao, with her flushed face, showed him that look of a small, wet-eyed animal, no different from a female courting a mate. But Yan Yao felt like she hadn't done anything at all. He was the one who made the first move out of nowhere. How was that her tempting him? If it were anyone else, she'd have slapped him across the face. He had just saved her. And he had those fluffy ears. Considering how good he tasted, she'd take the blame. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to cut sugarcane. I didn't notice the snake. Then I got scared. So I hugged you. Yan Yao's face was red, and she didn't even know where to start explaining. How was she supposed to know which move made him think she was flirting? It wasn't like it was their first hug. But wait, does this mean they're both into each other now? He kissed her for that long. It couldn't just be about leaving his scent. But clearly, the guy wasn't going to keep discussing who was flirting with who. He turned to look at the stalks piled by the river. Those were all cut by her. This plant is sweet, but it's hard to chew. It gets stuck in your throat easily. Yin Ling wrinkled his nose in disgust. Don't eat this. I'll find you some other sweet fruit. He thought his delicate little female shouldn't have to eat such low-quality sweets, let alone find her own food. No, wait, sugarcane can be squeezed into juice and boiled in a pot to make big chunks of sugar. Once you break it up, it's like salt but super sweet. Yan Yao quickly grabbed the big guy's arm and kept explaining. We can get people to help collect lots of sugarcane, make it into sugar and sell it at the market. Trust me, it'll sell for a good price. That way you won't have to go hunting every day. Yinling was quiet for a moment. He was thinking through whether her plan could work. To find that much sugarcane, you'd need a lot of people. And if you really can make what you're talking about, those people will just steal your idea. We can try it ourselves first. If we really can make money, we can buy half Beastman slaves to do the work. Yinling chose to trust Yan Yao without question. You can never be too careful. But you definitely have to be careful. Yan Yao sighed inwardly. If the big shot's ideas got stolen, there'd be no money left for her. She smiled and praised him. But thinking about King earlier, she couldn't help asking softly. You weren't just rubbing your scent on me, right? It was King. Really? Yinling's expression softened. He nodded gently. Seeing that, Yan Yao got bold and said sweetly, you kissed me. So now you're my boyfriend. You can't go after other females. Thinking about how the big shot almost got snatched away by the honey butterfly bird, Yan Yao felt insecure. She'd been an orphan since she was little, so she got anxious easily. Even though she was smiling brightly, inside she was a nervous wreck. She was scared the big shot wouldn't answer, wouldn't commit, and she'd just stolen his first kiss for nothing. Yinling looked at his little female, not really understanding. What's a boyfriend? It means a partner. Yan Yao blushed, a little shy, and explained, I'm your partner. I won't go after other females. The moment she said that, Yinling pulled the restless little female close, holding her in his arms, and strode toward home. Yan Yao's heart jumped to her throat. She nervously wrapped her arms around his neck. Please don't tell me we're going to the punishment room now. When I said partner, I didn't mean we'd be doing that. Her every little move successfully sent him into heat, but he forced himself to hold back his beastly instincts for her. However, Yan Yao, held in his arms, was lost in her own romantic fantasies, thinking the big guy was taking her back to consummate things. Just as she was debating whether to make the first move or not, Yinling gently set her down on the stone bench. Then he crouched down and looked at her flushed little face. I'm going to chop some wood. Wait for me at home. Yan Yao nodded blankly. She watched Yinling's retreating figure with a hint of disappointment. Guess she was overthinking it again. So the big guy only kinda sorta likes her, but doesn't actually want her body. Meanwhile, she was the one daydreaming about being all over him. Figuring Yinling would be busy for a while, Yan Yao decided to make some food while waiting for him. Just as she was grilling the last few skewers, she heard the sound of Yinling dropping something heavy nearby, maybe because the sugarcane grew in the thick brush. Even though Yinling had washed his hands and feet, his clothes were still covered in dirt. Dried leaves were stuck in his silver hair, making him look a bit ridiculous, like he'd just escaped from somewhere. Yan Yao smiled and ran over to grab his arm. Come eat. Even though it happened all the time, every time the little female smiled at him, it still made his heart race. Unable to calm down, Yan Yao noticed a few fresh cuts on his wrist, grabbed the herbal juice she'd made earlier, and spread it over his arm. The stinging pain didn't bother Yinling at all. What really shook him was Yan Yao's extraordinary intelligence. How could such a small female be this smart? She had so much mysterious wisdom. If the rest of the tribe found out, she'd definitely be honored as another shaman. So in the future, would she take many beast husbands too? Would she even still stay by his side? But she said she only liked him. Thinking about it, Yinling felt his heart tighten for no reason. Why do you like me? Yinling suddenly blurted out. His voice was strangely cold. Yan Yao was caught off guard. She saw the big guy's beast ears slowly droop back, like he was feeling down. Because you're handsome. In my eyes, you're the most handsome male. You're the strongest mate, Yan Yao answered eagerly with a hint of hesitation. Sure enough, those snow-white beast ears that had been drooping immediately perked straight up like antennas. It was absolutely adorable. Yan Yao wanted to touch them so bad. But she was too small. Couldn't reach. Even though the big guy only said Yan Yao could vaguely see the corner of his pale pink lips curl up just a tiny bit. Oh my god, the big guy actually smiled. But when she looked again, he was back to his usual cool expression, making Yan Yao think she just imagined it. You like other males too, right? Yinlin sat across from her and casually asked. He asked casually. Yan Yao nodded without thinking. She really was afraid of every male except Yinlin, especially after seeing what happened to Yi. If she'd been treated like that, she really would have chosen to end it all. Good thing the big guy was different from those males. Yan Yao grinned and handed a skewer of meat to Yinlin. I used to be scared, but now I have you, so I'm not anymore. If anyone ever messes with me, I know you'll beat them up for me. Yinlin took the skewer, his pinky twitching slightly. His little quirks were so weird. After they finished eating, they started figuring out how to make sugarcane juice. Yinlin turned out to be even smarter than Yan Yao expected. With his natural talent for craftsmanship, and using the Mortise antenna structure Yan Yao had shown him, he quickly designed the tools they needed. And he worked fast, too. In just 1 hour he had the tools finished. Yan Yao couldn't help much the whole time. But when it came to juicing, she finally got to pitch in, carrying basins, swapping them out, handing over sugarcane, cleaning out the pulp, and sneaking in a moment to wipe the big guy's sweat. Her small figure dashed back and forth between the yard and the house. They worked late into the night. A mouth-watering sweet aroma drifted out from Yinlin's home. Yan Yao scooped some syrup from the pot and offered it to the big guy to taste. Yinlin had tried many kinds of sweet fruits, but none of them tasted like this. Pure sweetness, rich to the extreme. Yan Yao noticed the big guy's lips part, a flush creeping across his face, even if it only lasted a moment. But he caught a glimpse of the big guy's pink tongue, not rounded, but shaped like a triangle, pointy and kinda sexy. Yan Yao thought back to their kiss earlier. If they did it like on TV, that intense, passionate French kiss, kissing him like that, it'd feel amazing. He shook his head, quickly pushing those inappropriate thoughts away. Yinlin noticed Yan Yao's face turning red for no reason. He was confused. What's wrong? Nothing, just a little hot. It's about done. You can pour it into the wooden tubs. Once it sets, Yan Yao pointed at the pot. Trying to change the subject, Yinlin didn't say much, just calmly did what he was told. The finished syrup filled 5 wooden tubs, about 30 pounds total. That should sell for a good price. I'm going to wash up. You coming? Yinlin stood up and asked. After realizing Yan Yao had no sense of danger, he didn't feel comfortable letting him go to the river alone. And he considered Yan Yao his mate, so there was nothing he couldn't see. Of course, he still couldn't seduce him. If he did, he might completely lose control, turning into a savage beast driven only by mating instincts. After all, today, because of all of Yan Yao's teasing, he had officially entered the mating season of an adult beastman. Yinlin had never lost control before. He'd always kept absolute calm and composure. He figured he could still resist the temptation of that little tease, as long as he didn't go too far. Just as Yinlin was worrying about that, Yan Yao flat out rejected his offer. He pointed at the wet basin in the corner used for storing water. No need, I'll just use that. You go wash up. Yinlin's expression stayed cool, and he nodded before turning to leave. But the furry beast ears among his hair drooped back quite a bit. Yan Yao couldn't bring himself to watch the big guy's back. He knew the big guy meant absolutely nothing by it. But being invited to share a bath, his skin just wasn't thick enough for that. Worried that Yinlin would wash up fast, Yan Yao didn't dare dawdle. He quickly stripped off his clothes and wiped himself down. He'd been wearing these clothes for days now. They were filthy. Really filthy. Yan Yao had no change of clothes, so he grabbed one of Yinlin's fur vests and threw it on. Since it was way too big, his shoulders and legs were totally exposed. But it was better than wearing nothing. At that moment, the sound of rowdy beastmen voices suddenly came from outside the yard. Confused, Yan Yao pushed open the gate and found the yard completely packed with beastmen. Yin Lin, who'd just come back from the river, was wearing only a tight fur loincloth. His chiseled abs were flawless, with glistening water droplets trailing down his waistline. Very easy on the eyes. Yan Yao was done for. No way, such a beautiful sight. Everyone else got to see it too. Yin Lin, hand over the black honey. The angry shouts came in hot. At the same time, she couldn't help sneaking glances at Yin Lin's stunning figure. Yin Lin was naturally tall and striking. Great build. But she'd never shown it off like the other males did. Yan Yao quickly grabbed a shirt from inside and draped it over Yin Lin. It's cold out, don't catch a chill. Yan Yao wasn't about to let anyone get a free show. But her appearance got a lot of the males excited. They hadn't expected her skin to be so fair and soft. Her dress was usually long. And the sleeves too. You couldn't see anything, nothing at all. Yin King Han frowned and scooped the little female up. Ignoring the shouts behind him, he turned and went inside. Her gaze drifted to Yan Yao's collarbone. His throat bobbed slightly. Then he reached out and gently ruffled her hair. They mistook the sweet smell for black bear honey. It's fine, you go to sleep. I'll handle it. Yan Yao had no idea what black bear honey was. He scooped out a spoonful of syrup for Yin Lin to take. He scooped out a spoonful and handed it to Yin Lin. Yin Lin didn't want to take it at first. As long as he said it wasn't his, no one would dare enter his territory. But seeing the little female yawn from exhaustion, he didn't want the tribe pestering him all night. So he quietly took it and walked out. Yan Yao meant to wait up for him. But the long day wore her out and she quickly fell asleep. She woke up at dawn. But Yin Lin was nowhere to be seen. Yan Yao scrambled out of bed and spotted the underwear and scarf laid out at the foot of the bed. His face flushed bright red. He rolled around in bed a few times. No way, the big shot actually washed his clothes and underwear for him. Yan Yao was so embarrassed he could die. He could totally picture the big shot with a cold face, squatting by the river scrubbing his clothes. Yan Yao covered his burning cheeks with both hands. He took a deep breath to calm himself down. He still had no idea what was going on outside. When Yan Yao opened the door, Yin Lin was carrying a bundle of thick bamboo. We're going to the market later. Yin Lin spotted Yan Yao and casually dropped that line. Before getting back to work, Yan Yao saw several beastmen busy in the yard. Even Lan Xiong and the others were twisting hemp ropes. Turns out, when the beastmen surrounded the yard yesterday, Yin Lin felt his space was invaded. So he decided to expand the yard several times over. He even fenced in the vegetable garden behind the house. Even though those guys stopped pestering after smelling the syrup, Yin Lin didn't want anyone disturbing his little darling. Yan Yao thought about the trip to the market. So he cut off a chunk of the hardened brown sugar. If he sold it for 30 gold coins, he could make a nice profit per piece. Then he could buy some good ingredients to help Yin Lin build up his strength, to help Yin Lin get stronger. With so many people working today, the huge yard was finished in no time. But Yan Yao wasn't too happy, because he found out from Lan Xiong that last night Da Hong actually wanted Yin Lin to be his mate. During lunch, Yan Yao brought it up, pretending he didn't really care. But Yin Lin didn't give it a second thought. He only said that to get the sugar and lean meat. If it weren't for you, Yan Yao kept pushing, stuck on the thought. I hate it. Yin Lin answered bluntly. That instantly lifted Yan Yao's mood. His big shot was his. No one could take him away. After eating, they got ready to head to the market. Yin Lin had just crouched down. And before he could even say he'd carry him, Yan Yao naturally climbed on. Yin Lin patted his head, seeming to enjoy the warmth of that trust. The two walked down the road sweetly. While passing beastmen occasionally shot them weird looks. But Yan Yao's attention was all on the big guy's soft, fluffy beast ears. He couldn't resist quietly reaching out and touching the tuft of silver fur at the tip of the ear. But the ear twitched back like it had a mind of its own, quickly swatting his finger. So cute it was driving him crazy. Seeing no reaction, Yan Yao got bolder. After sneaking a few touches, he gradually got carried away. The soft feel was seriously addictive. But then the ear suddenly went stiff and still. Stop that, Yin Lin halted. And coldly muttered, sorry. Sorry, did I tickle you? Yan Yao pulled his hand back right away. He really wanted to touch them. But he didn't dare. Especially since the big shot had told him to stop. Yin Lin frowned, trying to calm the sudden heat rising in him. Little female, don't tempt me. Holding the soft, delicate little female in his arms was already stretching his nerves thin, holding back his desires. But the little female had to go and touch his sensitive ears. It made him feel all swollen and achy. Hearing that again, Kudeboshi's face turned bright red. How was that tempting him? Touching his ears counts as tempting? Yen Yao started to wonder if the big shot was being overly dramatic. That streaker from the other day practically plastered himself on him. And he never called that tempting. Plus when he kissed him and held him, he never said he was taking advantage. Yen Yao couldn't help feeling a little bitter about it. That little unpleasant moment left them both silent, as if fate was messing with him on purpose. Songdai came strutting over in a see-through Simu dress, swinging her hips and flirting with every step. The woman never imagined she'd never see it coming. Her one and only Beastman mate being poached by multiple females at once. Her mate was being stolen right from under her. Even though Yen Yao was held tight in his Beastman's arms, the barely dressed Midai was still throwing herself at her beast husband, openly eyeing her man, completely treating her, the rightful mate, like air. Furious, Yen Yao was about to lose it when Yin Lin turned her around, walking quickly toward the shore without looking back, not bothering to acknowledge Midai at all, completely ignoring Midai. Ignoring her was the best revenge. Damn it, hey, you, stop right there. Midai is talking to you, can't you hear? What's your problem? Yen Yao turned around in surprise and saw that Da Hong and Lu Ta were there too. Great, all three rivals in one place. And behind them trailed 8 guards, including Lan Chu, who'd once tried to pursue Yan Li. Now he was Da Hong's companion. He may seem honest on the surface, but he's sharp too. Plenty of tricks up his sleeve. Yin Ling turned away coldly. His dangerous tree-like eyes grew even colder. You disgust me. I will never abandon my female. And I won't accept any of your courtships. Stay away from me and my female. Without waiting for the three to respond, he carried Yen Yao and left. The beastmen watching nearby erupted in chatter. 3 noble females, all chasing the same beastman? This was the biggest drama ever. Humiliated, the 3 were furious. Especially Lu Ta, who got dragged into it. He hadn't even said he wanted Yinling as his male yet. Though when he found out that Da Hong and Midai both wanted to claim Yinmei, he did start feeling competitive. But he hadn't even said it out loud. Meanwhile, Yen Yao was beyond speechless. She'd never thought about anyone. But these people kept coming after her, trying to steal her man again and again. It was ridiculous. But once they entered the seaside market, Yen Yao quickly went into full shopping mode, completely forgetting the earlier drama. Yen Yao bought lots of food that would last the winter, plus 2 hens for eggs. Yinling didn't really get it. But if Yen Yao wanted it, he'd just pay. However, the price of splurging. Not enough money left to buy beast slaves. But Yen Yao wasn't worried. They still have sugarcane and brown sugar to sell for money. Meanwhile, Luda, who'd been staring at Yen Yao, was furious. She had no mood to buy anything. They're way too cocky. We need to teach them a lesson. Da Hong was sweating bullets. If he hadn't learned his lesson before, and known full well that his beastmen were no match for Yinling, he would have grabbed him and beaten him senseless. Da Hong, look at that thing they wrapped in leaves. That's the sugar, they'll definitely sell it later. He stared longingly, his voice dripping with jealousy. Da Hong narrowed his eyes, his mind spinning. He elbowed Midai, who was picking out new dresses. Midai, send your guard beastmen to grab Yen Yao's sugar. That stuff's worth a lot. Even if Yinling chases after them, he won't dare leave Yen Yao's side to protect her. And even if he does go, we can just beat Yen Yao up instead. Midai, still browsing dresses, scoffed. She clearly had zero interest in Da Hong's reckless scheme. I'm not interested in doing something so pointless. The flying fish catch is in a few days. I need to buy more dresses. Maybe I'll attract more powerful beast companions. Don't you care that Yinling humiliated you? He rejected me in front of everyone. Da Hong couldn't understand why the proud Midai wasn't the least bit angry at Yinling's insult. Facing Yinling's outright, Midai shot Da Hong a look, her tone full of disdain. I'm the high priestess of the Jin tribe. Countless beastmen want to be my mate. No matter what Yinling says, it won't stop them from pursuing me. Da Hong, remember your place. You're the honored high priestess of the leopard tribe. Only weak, insecure females care what others say. Midai has total confidence. She's had plenty of handsome males try to steal her away, only to get rejected. No big deal, there's no man she can't win over. Midai picked up a crimson dress and examined it closely. Still, I think Yinling is interesting. I'll find a chance to let him taste me. Once he's had me, he'll be completely hooked. He'll be completely obsessed with me. At that, Da Hong and Luda couldn't help but envy Mi Dai. The reason was simple. Mi Dai could shift into beast form, one of the few women who could take a beastman shape. That also meant she could mate with her partner in leopard form. Almost no male could resist her hot, seductive appeal. But Da Hong still couldn't let it go. So she urged Luda to send guards to take her away. But Luda hesitated. She was the chief's daughter. Even with guards for protection, Yinling was still a member of the tribe. If a Meng found out, she'd definitely be punished. Seeing her hesitate, Da Hong started to threaten her. If you don't listen to me, once your father dies, I'll be the highest priestess in the tribe. And my mate will be the tribe's chief. Then who's going to protect you? Luda backed down immediately. She could only nod and do as told. Mi Dai smirked at the two fools. A sly smile curled on her lips. Who would want a man so badly, yet go out of their way to offend him? Meanwhile, Yan Yao's brown sugar was a hit with the merfolk merchants. Many paid top price for it. Planning to head home and win over their mates, Hanami glanced at the last for pieces of brown sugar. After paying, he even gave Yan Yao the prettiest seashell dress from his stall, hoping to get more next time. Yan Yao admired his business sense. After all, beastmen aren't known for thinking ahead. And Hanami's stall was pretty big. In a prime spot too. Maybe she could partner with him long term. But then a sudden gust of wind swept through, and the brown sugar vanished from the stone slab. Yinling jumped up, alert and wary. Hanami, on the other hand, flew into a rage. Which tribe's beastman dares steal from me? I'll kill him. Yan Yao watched Yinling, who was frowning. She couldn't tell what was wrong, but he could tell who did it. From the scent in the air, Yinling was baffled. The tribe's guard dared to rob the southern merfolk's goods? This would definitely bring trouble to the tribe. Hanami's furious shouts drew the surrounding merfolk. Who dares rob us, male merfolk? I'm going to tell Zillion right now. His tribe will pay dearly. Soon, the one called Zillion rode over on a beast. A mighty lion striding in majestically. Her queenly poise was both elegant and commanding. The scent I picked up is from the firecrackers, but not from this beast in front of me. Yun Li's heart skipped a beat. Da Hong and the others were here today too. Could they be behind this? Are these guys tired of living? Zillion jumped off the lion with a cold expression, telling everyone to check if anything was missing. She also sent out a hired squad to track them down. No matter who dares to rob the southern tribe's goods, they'll face the harshest punishment. Her words sounded like a warning, and also like she was telling everyone just how serious this was. Even with all this going on, Yan Yao and Yinling weren't stopped. When they left, instead they were kindly reminded to be careful on the way back, so they wouldn't get robbed. He had several hundred coins on him now, which was no small amount. After thanking them for their kindness, Yan Yao and Yinling headed to the slave market. The half-beastmen there were all locked in cages, sold like merchandise. Some would even be bought by wealthy tribes as food. Yan Yao felt a pang of sadness for no clear reason. Even though most beastmen wouldn't eat half-beastmen, they also wouldn't waste precious food. Keeping half-beastmen as slaves, the stale air reeked of filth. And it was so strong Yan Yao could barely breathe. Lin Lin picked out a pair of ox-headed beastmen. That one was even taller than him. These were the kind of workers they needed. On the way back, the dusk grew dim. Yan Yao walked quietly beside Lin Lin, occasionally glancing up at his ever-changing icy eyes. Today everything had gone smoothly. Even the big shot seemed to be in a good mood. But he hadn't smiled once. And he hadn't carried him the whole way back. Bored, Yan Yao reached out to poke Silver Bell's waist. But before he could even touch him, his wrist was caught. Don't touch me all of a sudden. Copper Bell's eyes were cold and stern. Ever since he'd gone into heat over the little female, her scent and presence kept stirring up waves of desire he had to fight to control. For any normal male, that was an unbearable thing. Not to mention he was already in the restless heat season. Other males would just give in to that urge. But he kept letting Yan Yao get away with everything until they survived this winter. He couldn't afford to think about it. Yet she kept teasing him, intentionally or not. It was driving him crazy. Yan Yao looked innocent as she asked for a hug. But inside she was totally frustrated. Couldn't touch his ears. Couldn't get a hug. Couldn't even poke his waist. Boo-hoo, she'd carried him all the way here. He was her mate, but he wouldn't even let her touch him at all. Why should the big shot get to kiss her whenever he wanted? Tonight she was going to kiss him back for all of it. Why should the big shot get to kiss and hold her whenever he was happy? She didn't even mind when he touched her head. But when the little one touched her ears, that was a no-go. No holding her arm either. Even trying to poke her cheek got shut down hard. So unfair, and that honey butterfly girl pressed her bare chest against her the other day. She didn't even frown at that. Yinling had no idea Yen Yao was rushing ahead, fuming. She was all puffed up, thinking about something. But he could guess he was the reason the little female was upset. He started to wonder. Was the little male going into heat? Starting to crave mating? The driver, Yinling, stayed cold and stern. His face was prone to flushing. The strange glow in his eyes slowly dimmed. When they reached the tribe's main gate, both lost in their own thoughts, they were surprised to find no guards at the entrance at all. Yen Yao stopped being mad at the big shot. She looked at him with confusion. Did something big happen in the tribe? The beast ears among Yinling's silver hair twitched. His calm, water-like gaze fixed quietly on the direction of the altar. His voice was clear. At the altar. I can hear it. Don't worry about it, Yen Yao nodded. She envied the big shot's superhuman hearing. If the big shot said don't worry, then don't worry. Sticking your nose in other people's business just causes trouble. She and the big shot both hated trouble. They just wanted to live their own little life. As long as they had food and drink, they'd be happy. A Shan and a Yu were taken away. Big Shot said, don't use force to reason with people. Yen Yao had just reached the front door of their home when her heart skipped a beat. The door she'd closed tight at noon was now half open. He shoved the door open urgently. Kurong rushed to save him. All for the big shot. Lan He's entire body was slammed into the green stone steps. It was a horrifying, bloody scene, too gruesome to look at. But what no one expected was the beast that had swooped down to attack Yinling missed completely. Everyone covered their mouths, staring in utter shock at the scene. Many females screamed out loud. Yinling was cold and terrifying, beyond anything they'd ever seen. Shengzi's orange gold eyes watched Yinling warily. Low, deep growl rumbled from his throat. The humanoid beast made him feel threatened. If the one he'd just attacked had been Zilian, the outcome would likely have been the same. The leopard clan wasn't as strong as the fox clan, but they were born with speed beyond any other race. But no one expected that extreme speed could be displayed in human form. It clearly defied all logic. And Yinling had more than just speed. He had strength. Unfathomable strength. Yinling, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Guyu snarled through gritted teeth. Lan He was his child. Yinling stood frozen in place. The bright moonlight filtered through his lowered lashes, casting dappled shadows. Beneath those eerie, blood-red pupils, merciless blood-red light crashed into his cold silver eyes. Deep as a blood moon lurking in the abyss, she glanced coldly at Lan He's lifeless body. Her voice was icy and sharp. She took advantage of me being gone and broke into my territory. She stole my food. So I killed her. That's right, some rules are absolute. Of course, for Yinling, there's something more important than food. Murderous intent. Yinling didn't know the word for it, but that's exactly what he meant. To survive, he'd still need to go out hunting. If other males dared to break into his home, there'd be no way to keep it safe. His logic was simple. Establish a strong deterrent. To protect Yen Yao. Then you should have let me punish him. Guyu knew Yinling was right, but he'd quietly allowed Lan He to do it. You knew this was breaking the rules, yet you still let Lan He steal. Under your leadership, the Leopard clan will only sink lower and lower. No more safety. Yinling's merciless words cut like a knife, straight through Guyu's heart. But he wasn't done. He kept going coldly. Beastmen join a tribe because when they go out for food, their territory gets protected. If even tribe members break the rules and steal from each other, then the tribe has no reason to exist. Yinling's words left everyone silent. Every great tribe holds to this absolute rule. That's what a tribe stands for. That's what unity means. If that meaning is gone, then the tribe has no reason to exist. Yinling, don't push this. You're challenging the chief. The tribe's most important rule is that everyone obeys the chief's orders. I demand your execution. Wu Yisebo couldn't hold back. He shouted at Yinling. Even if Lan He was wrong, you can't just kill him. Are you trying to kill all of us? Yinling must die. Luda snapped out of her panic. She pointed at Yinling and shrieked. The noble females who sided with Da Hongwen quickly joined in condemning Yinling's crimes. A thunderous roar cut the accusations short. Hai Nini whispered a few words to Zilian. She looked at the carnage and clicked her tongue, then turned to Yinling. Beast of the violent tribe. Are you saying the brown sugar is food you brought back from the forest? Not stolen by Yanyao? The brown sugar here was stolen by them. Your food, right? But the brown sugar was made by my mate himself. Yanyao's clear, bright voice rang out from the corner. She'd been trying to keep up with the big shot, but he was too fast. She couldn't catch him at all. By the time she got there, the bloody scene almost made her sick. Yi and the others saw her arrive and quickly cut to the chase, explaining what had happened. But things had spiraled so fast that even she was caught off guard. Is this really the same warm-hearted big shot who washes his underwear by the river? Even though he'd already brainwashed himself that the animal world is survival of the fittest. Eat or be eaten, or you don't make it. Actually seeing the big shot's brutal side still made his heart race. He just had to grit his teeth and go for it. Since he'd made his choice, he had to do his best to help the big shot clean up the mess. If the tribe actually executed the big shot, wouldn't he be a widow just days after his wounds healed? First of all, my mate hasn't done anything wrong. I don't understand why Da Hong ordered Lan He to steal the brown sugar. But it's clear that brown sugar is a super valuable seasoning. Yan Yao held herself back from looking at Lan He's body. Yao Yao walked toward Zilian. Yao Yao looked at Zilian, moving toward her like a swimmer, and continued, Sister Huo, these are all small matters. I really hope to build a long-term partnership with your southern tribe. Yan Yao believed Zilian was a shrewd businesswoman. She wouldn't care who lived or died. What she cared about was profit and the southern tribe's reputation in the area. Sure enough, after understanding what Yan Yao meant, Zilian's tense face quickly relaxed. Her words indirectly proved that she and Yinling were the true owners of the brown sugar, because they knew how to make it, and they could supply it long term. A soft light flickered in Zilian's gorgeous purple eyes. Her heart stirred. He asked if the seasoning wasn't affected by weather, if it could always be available like salt. And there was plenty more. A few pieces, even dozens of pieces. Zilian might not care about that. But Yan Yao's large supply was enough to tempt him. Don't think the Southern Reef tribe had no competition. On the northern coast, the White Dolphin Coast, there were even more sea tribes doing business. Yan Yao endured the discomfort in her heart, grabbing the blood-stained hand covered in silver scales, trying to send the message, please, big shot. Don't go berserk again. Leave the rest to me. Yinling's face remained cold, his thin lips clear and composed. But he silently squeezed Yan Yao's soft, delicate hand. The murderous aura radiating from him slowly faded away. Yan Yao's beautiful eyes sparkled like stars in the night sky, bright and radiant. She gave Zilian a slight smile and answered, yes. And only my mate and I can make it. As for what just happened, the one who stole the goods should get what he deserves. As for commanding Da Hong and Luda, please let our own tribe chief handle it properly. Yan Yao's calm, unyielding attitude toward Zilian genuinely stunned the crowd of Beastmen. But what really surprised everyone was that she'd suggest letting Guyu make the call. Either way, her actions clearly showed respect for Chief Guyu. After all, if Zilian were to dictate the punishment, freely punishing the chief's daughter and the shaman would be quite humiliating for the tribe as a whole. The way everyone looked at Yan Yao began to change. It was filled with unprecedented admiration. But Yan Yao alone knew the truth. He wasn't actually helping Guyu. He was taking a roundabout route. If Zilian could do him a favor, it would greatly reduce the consequences of the big shot going berserk and killing Lan He, making enemies. He and the big shot hadn't even gotten started yet. Living on their own outside or switching tribes, neither was a good option. Even if they switched tribes, would it really be better than this one? Rather than risk moving, it was better to build up his own standing. More importantly, he wanted to protect the big shot. Maybe it was selfish, but compared to other people's lives, the big shot who saved him from disaster mattered more. If everyone ended up against the big shot, with his tiny amount of power, he couldn't help the big shot at all. The merchant's influence could be used. The chief's desire for authority could be used. Everyone's respect for the chief's values could be used too. Even if calculating this way might be immoral, it still counted as keeping the tribe peaceful. Once this matter was settled, I look forward to your generous reward, Zilian. Jin stepped down from the altar, walked over to Xing Zi, and gave Yan Yao a calm smile. The thief is all ready. As for long-term cooperation, giving Yan Yao face to help her make money wasn't really a big deal. The southern tribe had been able to thrive in this area, not through brute force. They had always followed order and rules. The Beastman world was simple in some ways. Basically, if someone messes with me, I don't back down. If someone tries me, if someone crosses me, I'll make them pay. That was Shu Wei's absolute rule. Yan Yao breathed a sigh of relief. She turned to the chief and said warmly, "Chief, I think many people share the blame for Lan He's death. But I trust the wisdom of our people. They'll make the right call." Yan Yao's words were perfectly spoken, and her eyes showed genuine respect. Guyu hadn't expected that after Yan Yao earned the southern tribe's favor, she'd still show him so much respect. His emotions grew complicated. Yinlin's revenge on Lan He was brutal, and it infuriated him. But this was clearly a mess Da Hong had stirred up. Did Da Hong bear no responsibility? He didn't stop Lan He from stealing and breaking the rules. He didn't stop Lan He from sneaking off to break the rules. Was he really blameless? After the old chief died in battle, not only had he failed to grow the tribe, he'd let the shaman's family keep pushing them down, making the tribe worse and worse. Rules were being trampled left and right. All of this was the result of being too soft and too scared. He feared the shaman and the golden leopard tribe behind Da Zhang, which made his authority in the tribe sink lower and lower. Once the Black Panther Guyu saw things clearly, he stood up resolutely. He straightened his back, his gaze firm, and commanded with authority. "I've decided to banish Nao Yi, Saibo, and Da Zhang from the tribe." Lu Ta threatened Da Zhang. "Those who mess up get locked in the Black Mountain Cave for 3 days. The moment he finished speaking, as expected or maybe not, cheers suddenly erupted. Many tribe beastmen suddenly jumped for joy. The low-ranking females happily danced with their partners. It was deeply satisfying. Da Hong had been causing trouble for way too long. The leopard tribe's own beastmen, after the brutal battles of recent years, were already few in number. Over the years, to boost their strength, the tribe had taken in many wandering clans and low-ranking females. But the native beastmen led by Da Hong had been throwing their weight around, bullying the low-ranking females and weaker beastmen. That kind of poison should have been broken long ago. Lan Xiang couldn't wait to stand up, leading a crowd of ecstatic females, with pure satisfaction on her face, as she marched furiously toward Da Hong. "You can get lost now. Get out of our tribe." The females immediately chimed in one after another. "Get out of our tribe. Damn Da Hong. We don't have to be scared of you anymore. Get lost, go back to your own clan. See who you can bully now." Da Hong first looked utterly shocked. Then his rage boiled over. These low-ranking females who were always so timid actually dared to talk back to him. He stood up and roared, raising his foot to kick Lan Xiang, who was leading the group. But to his surprise, he was met with a united counterattack from everyone. Yu Yi gathered her courage and kicked Da Hong right in his thick waist. She grabbed his prized golden hair, a flush of excitement spreading across her pale face. "No one's going to help you," she shouted. "You're not part of our tribe anymore." Lan Xiang grabbed Da Hong's hair too and called out to the other girls, "Let's beat him up good." Even sturdy Xiang got caught up in the moment. She jumped up and came down on him like a ton of bricks, flattening him in seconds. The fight was on and they had the upper hand. The fierce brawl between the female beastmen was absolute chaos. The male beastmen were totally stunned. Many of the females who were close to Da Hong and thought they were too good for this were too scared to even make a peep. Lu Tao was trembling, cowering in the shadows by the corner of the altar. Wuzhu and Saibo rushed into the fight to protect their daughter, since they were supposed to be the wise ones. But these low-ranking females who'd been pushed around for way too long didn't care who you were, male or female, whatever your status. If you charged in, you were getting hit. They were throwing punches and kicks, letting out all their frustration. And honestly, it felt great. Kuyao wiped the sweat from her forehead at the sight. Da Hong was finished. It was rough, but she couldn't bring herself to feel sorry for him. In novels, the villainous female characters usually have reasons for scheming against others, and some even have secrets they can't share. That makes you feel a little sympathy for them. Maybe even shed a tear or two. But Da Hong? He bullied people for no reason, just to get his own kicks. Bullies always meet their match. If anyone deserved a beating, it was him. Sorry, but he got what he wanted too. The sticky feeling on his hands still made him uneasy. He was too scared to look up at the big shot's face. His heart was pounding out of control. Zilian lost interest in dealing with the aftermath. He gestured to Yun Yao and led the mercenary team away in full force. Before leaving, the lion, Shinzi, deliberately circled around Yinling. His move was hard to read. Yinling, with cold, clear eyes, stared back at him. His handsome face showed nothing. In truth, he hadn't needed to push his speed to the max to kill Lan He just now. He also didn't have to charge straight from the front, especially since Zilian was standing right in the middle. Yinling's sheer speed made Shinzi panic and miss, which was more like a silent show of power. He was still thinking about Yun Yao's question from earlier, his prideful competitive streak. But Yun Yao's heart had nearly stopped from fear just now. How could she care about the power games between males? All the scheming and backstabbing? She was totally confused by the lion's strange circling. She didn't catch any of it. Didn't understand a thing. The whole absurd mess ended with Da Hong being kicked out of the tribe like a ball. But the tribe's elderly elders and Chief Gu Yu had grim expressions, standing at the tribe's entrance. They stared into the darkness in the distance. They quietly discussed the issue within the tribe, trying to find a solution. But the Golden Leopard clan won't let this go. In today's, it's the day they catch the flying fish, and they're bound to run into them then. The crowd dispersed, everyone heading home, while the elders and the rest were called by Gu Yu into a room at the altar platform, which was Gu Yu's own dwelling. Yun Yao was worried about the big shot, but she didn't dare barge in, so she just held onto her recovered brown sugar block, sitting on the altar steps waiting for Yinling to come out. Yu Yi and Lan Xiang stayed close beside her. Lan Xiang patted Yun Yao's shoulder, trying to comfort her. Yun Yao, don't worry too much. This is all Da Hong's fault. The chief isn't a selfish person. Even if he's angry, he won't punish Yinling harshly. Yun Yao looked at the pale moonlight, gazing at the bright moon above, at the tall green bamboo house, and let out a long, helpless sigh. She sighed deeply in her heart. I'm not scared the chief will punish the big shot. I'm scared something else will go wrong and set the big shot off, triggering that terrifying killing spree. Are those old and weak folks in there even a match for the big shot? The big shot's gentleness always comes out of nowhere. And when the big shot loses it, that temper runs wild like the wind. Right, this is for you. Yun Yao reached into her bag and pulled out a small white porcelain bottle. She poured out for black pills. These were the 3-star reward from Big Hammer earlier. The 3-star reward Big Hammer gave before. 7-flavor bug-repelling sour fruit pills. What are these? Lan Xiang took the pills and sniffed them. The sour smell made her wrinkle her nose. They're bug-repellent pills. The old man you were helping earlier is your dad, right? Give him one a day. It might help him get better. Even if it doesn't, it won't hurt. You can take one yourself too. Yun Yao gave Lan Xiang a gentle smile. She explained softly. Even though she wasn't a doctor, at least the pills came with instructions. Bug-repellent pills wouldn't do any harm. It was her way of thanking Lan Xiang for speaking up for her today. Lan Xiang's eyes lit up with huge excitement. Lan Xiang's eyes sparkled with joy. She asked excitedly, Yun Yao, did you get these from the southern tribe? Yun Yao hesitated for a moment. Yun Yao hesitated briefly, then nodded. Tears of joy welled up in Lan Xiang's eyes. Precious medicine from a big tribe. She never even dared to dream of it before. She could never afford it. Yun Yao, I'll work for you from now on. No pay needed. If it helps my dad get better, I'll even kowtow to you. Thank you so much. We're friends. No need for kowtowing. She didn't refuse the offer. Yun Yao didn't hold back. She gave her a sweet smile. She did have things she'd need their help with, like gathering more sugar cane. Yun Yao's stunning, gentle smile warmed their hearts. Lan Xiang nodded excitedly. Yu Yi watched Yun Yao's flawless profile. He was so jealous of Lan Xiang. He wanted to be friends with Yun Yao too, because Yun Yao was genuinely great. A few days ago, the meat Lan Xiang brought was actually a gift from Yun Yao. It was surprising and touching. He never expected that Yun Yao would pull out that strange white bottle again and pour out a pill for him. Yun Yao smiled warmly at Yu Yi. Her crystal-like dark eyes were soft and gentle. Yu Yi, you should take one too. It won't hurt. If you have worms, they'll come out. Yu Yi took it in surprise and popped it into his mouth. He smiled and said, Yun Yao, I can help you out too. Yun Yao had already felt bad for Yu Yi before, Plus, Yi had really become braver and smarter. So she felt a bit more connected to the pale-faced girl. She nodded gently, We'll talk once you're better. Yan Yao also planned to take a deworming pill herself when she had time. Ashan and Yu needed to take them too. And Big Bro as well. After all, the hygiene situation here was pretty rough. Stomach issues were common. If you had a strong immune system, you'd get through it. But if your immune system was weak, and parasites lived inside you long-term, a beastman's lifespan would become really short. Come to think of it, the oldest elders were only in their 40s but already had gray hair and hunched backs. Of course, parasites weren't the only thing affecting their lifespans. There were definitely many reasons. In modern times, people in their 50s and 60s are just called uncle and auntie. Yan Yao remembered that in ancient times, 50 was called half-white elder, and 60 was the flower year age. Lifespans really were short. As she was lost in thought, before long, people started coming out of the house one by one. The first to walk out was the tall, cool big shot. He still had that same unchanging icy face. But the elders' expressions weren't as heavy as before. They must have worked something out. Lan Xiang couldn't wait to meet them. Especially the elder who could barely walk. The old man wanted to tell her about the medicine Yan Yao gave him. But the words caught in his throat. Yan Yao's medicine must be precious. She got it from selling brown sugar. He couldn't just go around telling people. Lan Xiang was old and had a sharp mind. There were plenty of shameless females in the tribe. If they all came asking Yan Yao for medicine, it would drive her crazy. He planned to remind Yu Yi later not to say anything. Lan Xiang truly believed that most of the females who had sided with Die Hong before didn't deserve Yan Yao's kindness. On the way back, neither of them spoke. Yan Yao kept glancing at the big shot's blood-stained hand. His hands were beautiful, pale, slender, with defined knuckles, elegant and graceful. But they could easily crush a beastman's skull. The bloody scene flashed through Yan Yao's mind again, and she shuddered, her scalp tingling. Hey, wait up. Can I talk to you about something? Yan Yao pushed down the panic in her head, gathered her courage, and caught up to him. She gently hooked her finger round his thumb. Yinling stopped in his tracks. He looked down at the little female, at her nervous little face, and hummed softly. I know territory is really important. You can't let anyone trespass. But next time, can you go a little easier? Don't just... She stammered, her eyes dropping, flustered. Just don't kill anyone. A good beating is fine too. Unless someone does something unforgivable, something that can't be undone. If he'd just not be like that. She wanted him to be better. Who wants their boyfriend to be a killer? Seeing the little female look up at him, with pleading eyes like a young cub, her face flushed with nerves. So cute it was almost too much. A soft silver light flickered in Yinling's beautiful, bewitching eyes. His voice warmed a little. Trespassing on our territory is a mistake that can't be forgiven. Little female, you can't protect yourself, but I'll protect you. Yan Yao's heart softened under his gaze. But she also heard what he meant. It's to protect you. You don't understand, right? I don't understand. How do I not understand? But I'm someone from a modern society with laws. It's really hard to accept that stealing gets you shot. So when Yu Yi stole his sweet fruit back then, he should have been lucky. Yu Yi, you've got such a temper. Yu Yi, you're so hot-headed. And so quick to judge. Anyone would feel choked up about that. Can't we just change that from now on? Maybe Yinling could see what he was thinking. His long lashes hung low, hiding the lonely look in his eyes. He said softly, I'm an ill-omened beastman abandoned by the beast god. Always have been. A lot of people wanted to kill me. When I was weak, I kept finding places to hide. But I never once dared to step into someone else's territory to steal food. Because stealing isn't allowed to exist. It costs you your life. That's how the tribe works. And that's how it should be. Yan Yao was stunned. She froze for a second, then felt a lump in her throat. The big shot wasn't born a big shot. Nobody knows what dark past he went through. If he'd stolen someone's stuff back then, he would have been killed without mercy too. In a world that showed him no kindness, expecting him to be merciful didn't really make sense. After putting herself in his shoes, Yan Yao's heart trembled. The night grew deeper. Back in the courtyard, the Minotaurs were cleaning up. They gathered up the leftover dead vines and weeds from the ground and tidied everything up. Everything was spotless. The beastmen were back. They kept their heads bowed respectfully. Their stomachs were growling like thunder. They looked tense and uneasy. On the wooden board nearby, right there on the board, were piles of delicious fruit. But they didn't dare touch any of it. I'll go organize the food we bought today. Are you hungry? Should we make something to eat in a bit? Yan Yao set aside what just happened and asked the big shot heading toward the river. He was probably going to wash off the blood. He needed to clean off the blood stains. Hungry, want meat? Yinling replied softly without turning around. That made Yan Yao smile a little. The big shot really loves meat. Alright, let's make some then. No matter what. The big shot definitely has his reasons. Yan Yao relaxed and crouched in front of the fully loaded bamboo board, taking the goods down one by one. She turned to Ashan. Help me untie the chickens and geese and put them in the coop. Then she pulled out some taro and sweet potatoes covered in dirt and looked at Au. Au, could you take these to the river and wash them clean? We can just boil them up and eat. The Manadwars happily did as they were told. Having work to do put them at ease. The more work, the better. That way they'd be useful. And if they weren't useful, they'd be killed. Yan Yao planned to move the big bags of wheat and taro, lotus root and sweet potatoes into the ventilated shed where they stored food. She figured that in a little while, the wheat in the black soil, the soybeans and corn would be ready to harvest soon. How much longer until the scallions, ginger, and garlic were done? She hadn't checked yet, but she figured it wouldn't be long. By then, she could pick the biggest sweet potatoes and taros to plant. If she got lucky, she might earn 2 more appraisal stones. Given the weather ahead, regular soil wouldn't be able to grow crops anymore. The only question was whether Big Hammer's black soil would be affected by the seasons. She hoped not. She'd spent over 100 appraisal stones today. Enough food to last a week. And it was all vegetarian. Now with 2 Minotaurs who could probably eat a ton, plus the chickens and ducks to feed, the food would run out faster. She still had appraisal stones on hand, but she'd be spending them all soon. Master, let me carry that. Ashan quickly finished what Yan Yao asked. And when he saw her struggling with the wheat, he rushed over to take it. He wasn't just going to stand there and watch. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yan Yao thanked him without thinking, which caught Ashan completely off guard and made his heart burn with warmth. His mistress was so kind. She was the best person he'd ever met. I'll work really hard, I promise. Ashan raised one arm and clenched his fist, the other arm hauling the wheat, his tail standing straight up. He suddenly blurted out that determined vow out of nowhere, making Yan Yao laugh behind him. Manadwars looked so goofy no matter what they did. Yan Yao grabbed the dinosaur meat from the shed. It's too late to cook now, so she just planned to grill some meat real quick. Before long, Au brought over some washed taro and sweet potatoes. These can just go straight into the pot to boil. Steamed buns. When Yinling came back carrying a fresh, clean scent, Yan Yao had already finished skewering the meat. She crouched down and took the raw skewers from Yan Yao's hands. Yan Yao was about to stop her and say they weren't cooked yet, when the big shot said, "You go take a shower. I'll handle the grilling." Shower? Yan Yao wrinkled her nose awkwardly. The big shot was always super clean, bathing every single day. But she had to shower at home. Going outside to bathe forget the risk of being seen. She was terrified of those leeches. Besides, it was the middle of the night and she couldn't see anything. No way she was brave enough for that. Yinling stared at Yan Yao, looking hesitant. She leaned in close to Yan Yao's face, her straight, elegant nose twitching. In an unreadable tone, she said, "You're dirty. You smell, it's so hot today. And Yan Yao's been sweating a lot too. But there's no way she'd stink that fast, right?" Steamed buns. Right then, Yan Yao remembered Yinling's incredibly sharp sense of smell and felt totally embarrassed. Oh man, the big shot thought she stank. Her girlfriend thought she stank. Fine, she'd wash even if the leeches drained her dry, she'd wash. Yan Yao stood up, feeling sulky, and heard the big shot casually add, "I cleared the riverbank earlier, but it's still safer to have a female Manadwar go with you." Yan Yao, at that moment, had no idea what Yinling meant by clearing. She grabbed her fresh clothes for the day, along with the cleansing plant paste. He hummed, seeing how down Yan Yao looked. And Yinling knew he'd probably upset the little female again. But her natural scent was way too faint. He tried to catch the smell of her heat, but got nothing at all. Instead, that rich, tempting female fragrance just wouldn't fade, he figured. The heat scent was probably masked by sweat. So he told Yan Yao to go wash up. Once she was clean, he'd take a closer sniff tonight, just to be sure. Females often released fluids carrying mating signals. The scent of that fluid would drive a male partner wild. Yinling thought. If the little female really started needing it, he'd have to find a way. Right now, deep down, he absolutely couldn't stand the idea of her going to another male to get satisfied. That wasn't allowed, because the little female was his. When Yan Yao reached the river, she saw the wide-open, flat riverbank and nearly cried. What the heck, it was totally bare. Both sides of the river used to have tall, thick reeds and tons of bushes. What on earth had that big shot done? He'd helpfully ripped them all out. No wonder washing took so long. Now she couldn't even bathe outside without being fully exposed. Nothing to hide behind. Hey, Au. Can you come with me? Yan Yao bit her lip, turned to Au, blushing slightly. Au stared at her, flustered, and said humbly, Mistress, I'm too dirty, I don't deserve to wash in the river. Looking into his mistress's bright, watery eyes, Au couldn't help thinking she was even more adorable than a baby calf. He blurted out, but I can scrub your back with vines. What, have a cow scrub her back? Yan Yao waved her hand and told the truth. No need, if you're not scared of the water. Just come with me. I'm a little afraid of the bugs in the river. You didn't get why bugs were scary. But since when were Minotaurs afraid of water? If there was one thing Minotaurs were still good at, it was swimming. You couldn't believe it and checked Yan Yao's face again. Once he was sure his mistress really meant it, he jumped into the river with a splash, kicking up water everywhere. Yep, that was a big water buffalo doggy paddling. Yan Yao almost laughed. Having company made her feel way braver. She slowly waded in, slowly making her way into the water. Even though the night had cooled down, the river wasn't cold at all. After baking in the sun all day, it was nice and warm. Yan Yao grabbed some grass to wash her hair, but the stuff was kind of rough. She asked Au to help her. Au's hands were big and thick. His pinky was twice as wide as Yan Yao's thumb. He crushed the grass easily. Yan Yao caught the leaves in her hands. She carefully washed her face while washing her hair, a gentle smile on her face. The mood was warm and easy. Au looked like a weight had been lifted off him. He doggy paddled around Yan Yao on patrol. His long, light brown ox ears stood tall above the water. His big, glossy eyes peeked above the surface. They shimmered with a strange light. His thick, long ox tail spun around like a funny propeller. Honestly, it was kinda cute. The river was actually pretty shallow. It only came up to Yan Yao's chest. But he was having a blast anyway. Yan Yao thought to herself. Half-beasts were probably about as smart as human kids. Some beastmen treated them as food. That was really hard to accept. On the way back, she spotted the huge Ashan, standing in the yard drooling. Back in her old life, Yan Yao had only seen drool in emoji stickers. It was dripping down in exaggerated droplets. Now she was seeing it in real life, shocked. She instinctively glanced at Au and burst out laughing. Au caught the smell of food. His face went blank too. Tian. Drool streamed from the corner of his mouth. So goofy, really goofy. Too cute, it was killing her. They were all like this. And no sense of shame. Come on, let's eat. Yan Yao called out with a laugh and headed inside. The two bull-headed men exchanged a happy look, then knelt obediently by the riverbank. Their eyes sparkled with hunger. Like stray dogs begging for food on the street, Au was the first to reach out his arm. Tian. Cupping his hands, he thanked the master for the food. Yan Yao felt a strange pang in her chest. She glanced at the big shot, who was still roasting meat with a cold expression. She poked a stick into the soft taro. No need to kneel, come get it yourselves. As long as you work hard, you'll always eat well from now on. She wasn't sure how to handle them. They had the minds of 7 or 8-year-olds. She needed to keep her authority as their mistress. Too lenient and they'd stop listening later. But there was no need to be as harsh as the slave market, since they'd be living together. As long as they were obedient and hardworking, they could all get by and live well. Au and Ashan stared at her timidly, not daring to move. Right. Yan Yao nudged the big shot's arm with her shoulder, playfully winking and grinning. Her smile was bright. Her damp black hair hung loose. Her skin pale as snow. Flawless and smooth. She looked adorable. Her pink lips glistened with a tempting sheen. Her pretty face reflected in his icy eyes, stirring a flicker within them. But the silver light spread like dawn breaking, the rising sun melting softly open. Even though Yan Yao often smiled at him, every time she flashed that smile, It was like boiling water suddenly poured into a cold heart, bringing that intense, burning warmth. A longing so deep it made you crave it. Hug her, yeah. Hold her tight, that little spark of his. Yinling handed the skewer to Yan Yao. Tian. His voice softened a little. I'll listen to you, but the meat's only for you. Yan Yao nodded, a little dazed. Even though she'd seen it many times. The big shot being gentle every now and then. That dangerous, mesmerizing kind of affection. It really hit you right in the heart. Honestly, she was drooling a little too. She swore it had nothing to do with the big shot. It was just the skewer smelling way too good. But with them staring at each other like this, she really wanted to touch those gorgeous, gentle eyes. But the big shot wouldn't let her. Their gazes quietly locked. The mood should have been soft and hazy. But kneeling at the door, the two oxen were drooling big time. Drops falling one after another, making sounds that weren't exactly romantic. She'd been zapped by the big shot's vibe. And still couldn't touch. Yan Yao blinked innocently, shrugged. Then turned to the two oxen and called out. You two, come over here. Grab some sweet potatoes and taro to eat. Ashan and Au ran over excitedly, grabbing the sweet potatoes straight from the hot pot with their bare hands. They held back their hunger and tried to run outside to eat. Slaves were dirty and couldn't eat with their master. Why don't you take a bit more? Eat up, and tonight you can sleep in the shed. When I have time, I'll build you a little house. Yan Yao smiled at the palm-sized taro in Ayu's hand. Xinjun hadn't even eaten yet. Ashan and Au froze for a moment. Tears welled up in their touched, reddened eyes. They grabbed a few more from the pot, then ran out sobbing. Under the night sky, the two oxen chowed down on steaming sweet potatoes. They looked at each other, tears in their eyes. Same thought in both their minds. Their mistress was so gentle. They'd work extra hard from now on. Don't be too good to them. After a while, Yinling set down the meat in her hands. Her lashes lowered. She muttered quietly. Look at how Yan Yao treats those oxen. I get what you mean. We don't know their personalities yet. We need to take it slow. But giving them more to eat. Tian. Yan Yao nodded obediently, acting like she totally understood what the boss meant. Yinling frowned, annoyed. His voice turned cold. Don't smile at them the way you smile at me. How you smile at me. Yan Yao looked up, slightly startled. Head. Her little face lit up. When did you start talking like that? Saying stuff like that means you like me. If you like someone, just say it. Going around in circles is no fun. That smile is like a seduction. Yes, Yan Yao's warm, bright, gentle smile. It was her way of seducing him. Yan Yao's face, which had just been a little shy, suddenly turned even redder. She looked down, embarrassed. After Yinling coldly dropped that line, she completely fell apart. Seduce your sister, ugh. Seduce me? So mad. Mad enough to explode. So now I'm stuck with the label of seducer, huh? Fine, I'll seduce right now. Yan Yao held back her anger and flashed an even brighter smile. Her sparkling almond eyes curved as she leaned in close. Her fluffy white ears twitching. She cooed, big shot. You're so good looking. I just love seducing you. The world spun. Everything went upside down. 3 seconds later, Yan Yao was completely done for. She had no idea how she'd been pinned to the bed in an instant. And she definitely didn't know why the cold, aloof big shot had her beneath him, running the tip of his pink tongue along her cheek. What did that even mean? But in his gorgeous, bewitching eyes, the usual silver glow was gone. In his round beast pupils, a dark, wild storm was gathering. It didn't look like he wanted to kill her. It looked like he wanted to eat her. I was just kidding. Don't look at me like that. Yan Yao panicked, staring at the big shot's cold, stiff face. She stammered, flustered. She knew the big shot. When he snapped, he snapped. He was someone who would really, truly kill. But playing the victim didn't seem to work on him. The big shot stuck out his sexy, burning tongue again and licked along her slender neck. Yan Yao's neck was as pale and smooth as porcelain. Her fragile artery pulsed with blood racing wildly. If he bit down, she'd be gone. Please, show some mercy. Drawing. The big shot had Yan Yao's arms pinned down tight. Against absolute strength. She could barely move a finger. What use was struggling? It wouldn't help at all. Silver Scale kept his head down. His fluffy snow-white ears brushing past Yan Yao's nose. His tongue was slick and hot. As if he couldn't hold back. Licking over and over at the spot above her artery. Fear mixed with shameful excitement. Fireworks kept bursting wildly in her mind, making Yan Yao bite her lower lip. and curl her toes without thinking. Her body went soft and numb, about to fall apart. Broken, she was really broken. Her whole body trembled hard. Too weak to resist at all. The big shot lifted her by her slender waist, and a fluffy tail brushed against her thigh, slowly wrapping around her. Yunyao never in her life imagined she'd be tied up by a tail. With the little sense she had left, she realized the big shot might not be trying to bite her to death. She'd seen it in nature documentaries. Cats. Before mating, the male bites the female's neck. The male grabs the female by the scruff before mating, to force her to cooperate. No way, it couldn't be what she thought. What exactly are you trying to do? Yunyao's weak, limp voice carried a fragile sob. The flush on her face spread wildly down her neck. Wait, is he seriously thinking about doing that? His whole cold, untouchable image just falls apart like that. He's about to turn into some lust-driven demon king. So the big shot actually has a... Really, Yunyao had no idea why she was thinking about that at a moment like this. But she couldn't help it. A low, seductive voice whispered right by her ear. My little female, you don't seem to be in heat. His voice carried a tempting, alluring tone, like it was making her body go even softer, while crumbling even more. Anyway, it was seriously wicked. Seriously wicked. But Yunyao snapped back to her senses after hearing that. Steamed buns, forced herself to calm her completely scrambled heart, clenching her teeth. So all that licking. You were checking if I was in heat? You think I'd seduce you only if I were in heat? I'm not some beast. Why would I be in heat? There's no way I'd be in heat. Do you even understand the heart of a loyal wild dog? Let me tell you something. I never once tried to seduce you. I never clung to your body either. I just think you're good looking. Really good looking, that's all. Yunyao had zero intimidation, softly growling. A cute little beast baring its claws and howling. As she said that, she still felt a little guilty. How could she not? Thinking about the big shot's appeal. Those soft lips. Gorgeous, chiseled V-line. Those perfect dimples above his waist. Steamed buns. She was definitely tempted. Ugh. But she didn't want him to think she was a total perv. She had a thin skin after all. Yinling, who was still kneeling on the bed, heard that. She let go of Yunyao arm. Yunyao instinctively tried to push her away. But not only did she fail, she got pulled right into her arms. Yinling buried her head in the crook of her neck. Her pale fingers slid through her dark hair as she spoke in a low, husky voice. I get it. The little female didn't mean it. Don't be mad. Yunyao was about to put up a fight. But now she was completely stunned. Did those words really come out of that sharp-tongued mouth? That sexy, deep voice. Mesmerizing. Totally spellbinding. She really couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't help but want to give in. Wait, what is he even trying to say? Aren't beastmen supposed to be straightforward? Scorching heat crept over Yinling's body. That familiar weakness washed over her. But her body burned like fire, aching unbearably. Yinling grabbed the back of Yunyao's head, forcing her to look up. With his burning breath, his thin lips easily pressed against her skin. His burning hot, pink tongue tip gently traced her soft, fair neck. A strong tingling sensation spread across her skin again. The clarity that had just returned to Yunyao's eyes shattered in an instant. The big shot's mouth was scorching hot. His teeth grazed her delicate neck. His smooth, serpentine tongue swept broadly across her sensitive skin. From her spine all the way to her toes, everything went weak and numb. She could vaguely see the big shot's snow-white beast ears lying flat and obedient. Damn, so obedient and cute. Almost without thinking, she reached out and touched them. His warm, silver-furred beast ears shimmered alluringly. They felt hot and soft to the touch. Yunyao swallowed hard in her daze. She didn't know why beast ears were so tempting. But the excitement inside her was inexplicably awakened. She craved to ruffle them hard. But she was already melted into a puddle from his licking. She couldn't muster any strength in her hands. Wait, could it be that the big shot is trying to get frisky? The big shot wants to get frisky. Yunyao's beautiful eyes were hazy with rising waves of emotion. Tears glistened at the corners of her eyes. Clinging to her long lashes, she felt like she'd fallen into a dream full of dazzling colors. Everything felt dizzy and disorienting. She had to admit, she was gradually feeling an indescribable sense of being overwhelmed. A stifled moan escaped her nose, impossible to hold back. None of this felt real. Only the heat radiating from the big shot's body was scorching. But this illusion didn't last long. The waves of electric sensation were too much for Yunyao to bear. The embarrassing sound from her nose. A sweet, alluring moan slipped from her lips. At that moment, Yinling froze. He stopped suddenly. The strength in his arms and tail slowly loosened. Then he covered her mouth. His breath ragged, he whispered, "Don't move." Yan Yao looked at his calm expression. She panted, slowly coming back to her senses. "When did I ever move? You're the one who started all this. That cold, icy look you've got right now. What's that supposed to mean? I don't believe you had that face when you were doing things to me." Yan Yao couldn't catch her breath. Blushing, she panted. Pouting, she pulled his hand away from her mouth and glared at him fiercely. "So what you just did was trying to seduce me? And I was the one being forced?" She wanted to give him a taste of his own medicine. See what he'd say to that. Yinling held her. His lips tinged with red. His brow furrowed slightly. He gazed at Yan Yao, their noses brushing against each other. A few glistening beads of sweat trailed down his sharp jawline, past his bobbing Adam's apple, and dripped onto Yan Yao's shoulder. "My body hurts a lot right now. Holding you eases the pain." Yan Yao calmed down a little. She looked the big shot up and down, as if weighing whether he was telling the truth. "Are you serious?" Yinling nodded, his expression somewhat grave. He just caught a strange, fishy sweet scent, cloying and thick, and realized the little female was about to go into heat from his rubbing. "How about you kiss me? Consider it compensation." Yan Yao hugged Yinling back, completely flipping the script. His waist was solid. A playful smile crossed her flushed, delicate face. She waited for her handsome boyfriend's kiss. They'd already slept together, already held each other, already licked. But she still hadn't gotten her kiss from the big shot. Letting him kiss her was fine too. She could totally overlook the big shot's inability to talk. After all, she knew he was actually really good to her. Thinking about her boyfriend's sexy tongue. Damn, that was tempting. What's wrong with a girl being a little naughty? Drawing. The world was never fair. Steamed buns. He took Yan Yao's arms off his waist, then dropped a single word, "No. I need to take a shower," and left. His snow-white dog tail wagged as he walked away. "Big shot, you heartless jerk. You got what you wanted and now you won't take responsibility. Just pat your butt, wag your tail, and bail. Total animal behavior. Total beast behavior." Furious, Yan Yao rolled around on the bed like crazy, as if everything that just happened was a freaking hallucination. All of it an illusion. "Yinling, you bastard. You heartless jerk. You're a total piece of. You don't even have a you can't. You're garbage. Total trash. So you're trying to play hard to get after seducing me? You heartless jerk, you're not even a real man. Ugh, so mad." Yan Yao was curled up on the bed, sobbing, hugging her knees, heartbroken, cursing between little whimpers, crying pitifully. Brave Yao Yao was determined to win over the big shot. Meanwhile, Yinling slipped away like a ghost into the night. He knew he'd been going into heat, completely losing control, lured in by that little female. Cold moonlight spilled across the river. The chilly night breeze slowly cooled the burning restlessness inside him. Yinling leaned against a low tree by the river, catching his breath. From a hidden beast hide pouch at his waist, he took out a glowing yellow beast core and swallowed it. He didn't take these unless he had to. He wouldn't eat it otherwise. Among all prey, only the hearts of adult beasts contained cores. They held a special power that could help him recover his strength fast. Adult beasts were also the hardest to hunt. Like the blade beasts he'd caught recently, they were all juveniles. That overwhelming weakness just now made it clear to Yinling that eating beast meat alone wasn't enough to sustain the energy he needed. He needed more beast cores and beast blood. When Yinling returned to the hut, still damp, Yan Yao seemed to have fallen asleep, exhausted, clutching the beast for a blanket. Tears still clung to her dark lashes, like she'd been through a lot. And gotten really angry too. Truth was, Yan Yao was way too furious to sleep. No way she was letting this slide. She stayed up waiting for that heartless beast to come back. The moment Yinling climbed into bed, she lay down facing away from Yan Yao. Her snow-white tail instinctively tried to curl around Yan Yao. But Yan Yao was faster. She pretended to roll over, bumping into the big guy's muscular chest. Without a care, she draped her arm over his curvy, sexy waist. It caught Yinling off guard. He didn't resist though. Silently, he pulled her small frame into his arms. Yan Yao kept her eyes closed, a sly smile curling at her lips. She thought smugly, "Oh yeah? What's the point of not letting me hug you? Oh, look at me now. Just wait till you're asleep, then I'll kiss you. I'll show you. Running away won't solve anything. I'm definitely getting that kiss." But not every plan works out. Yan Yao didn't make it until the big guy fell asleep. After a moment of triumph, feeling the big guy's fluffy tail, swaying back and forth against her calf, gently tapping, like it would never stop, she was the first to conk out. When she woke up, she felt like she hadn't slept at all. What made it even worse? The big guy was nowhere in bed. She woke up alone again. Ugh, she asked Yu and found out. Head. That heartless beast had gone hunting before dawn. Mistress, what are we doing today? The Yu blinked his big, innocent cow eyes, asking respectfully, noticing Yan Yao's sour expression. Breakfast first. Just boil some sweet potatoes. I'll arrange it after breakfast. Yan Yao's cute cheeks puffed up as she crossed her arms, plotting against that heartless beast. She'd deal with him when he got back. That kiss was happening. Whether he liked it or not, she had to get even. Little devil, so fierce. Go get him. Your own boyfriend. If you don't touch him, someone else will. If you don't kiss him, someone else will. What you hold onto is what's yours. Otherwise, some vixen will steal him away. Like, you know who. Little angel totally lost her say. Okay. Mistress, Ashan and I will go wash. Those two cow beastmen seemed smarter now. The moment Yan Yao spoke, they scurried off happily. Yan Yao sat in the yard, calming herself down, thinking about what to do next. She mulled over the situation. To keep making sugar to trade with Zilian, she needed to find more sugarcane. According to what the big shot said before, along this river, there were sugarcane trees scattered in the bushes on both sides. Most of the tribe built their homes by the river. For easy access to water, many sugarcane trees grew on other people's territory. To gather a lot, she'd need to ask for help. She needed to handle this soon. After autumn, there'd be no more sugarcane. But before that, she could prepare ahead of time. After eating, she took a Shan and a Yu to dig out the storage pit first. Not only could the squeezed sugarcane be processed, but the harvested sugarcane could also be stored there for a few days. Cover it with straw to keep the moisture in. Back in the countryside, when there was no cellar, a lot of the uncles would pick a sunny, dry spot and dig pits to store their food. Before long, a Yu brought over some cleaned sweet potatoes. Yan Yao chopped them up and made a simple pot of porridge. She added some brown sugar. Sweet, not bad at all. He casually sipped his porridge and spread out the big hammer blueprint he hadn't looked at in a while. He hadn't given any to the slaves to drink. Sweet Tree Root had that goofy, clueless look on his face. He was basically a gold mine of meme material. Ashan, why are you sitting out there? Isn't it too sunny? Yan Yao set down her half-finished bowl of porridge and asked him curiously. Ashan scratched his head sheepishly. His thick lips parted, revealing a row of big, bright white teeth. The master said, I'm a male, so I'm not allowed near the girls. Yan Yao's pretty brows raised slightly, a knowing smile spreading across her face, with a hint of sweetness in it. Wow, didn't see that coming. The big shot's pretty possessive. He's even jealous of a Minotaur. Usually he's like a total ice cube, but he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. The master said male Minotaurs are super strong, and that he's got plenty of strength too. He might accidentally bump into the mistress, so I'll be careful and keep my distance. I won't hurt you. Please don't think less of me. Then Ashan echoed what he said. Yan Nuan's sweet smile slowly faded. Guess I was overthinking it. It's fine, you're strong. You can help me dig a pit later. Just as Yan Yao finished speaking, from outside the yard, an excited shout suddenly rang out. Yan Yao, can I come in? Yan Yao muttered to herself. Why is Lan Xiang here this early? But actually, that works. She could bring up collecting sugar cane from the tribe. Yan Yao stood up and headed for the door. The two Minotaurs quickly gulped down their porridge and followed Yan Yao. In the warm morning light, sunshine spilled over the tall green fence. Through the gaps in the fence, she saw Yan Yao smiling and waving at him. Lan Xiang, wearing a brown leather vest, couldn't wait to push open the gate and ran inside. When he saw the extra half-beastman slave at Yan Yao's place, Lan Zhong's eyes went wide with shock. But there was no time to talk about that now. He held two leaf-wrapped bundles in his hands and said with a big grin, beaming with joy, Quick, look at these. After Yan Yao asked, she turned to look at Ashan and a Yu. At that moment, it seemed like someone farted. So gross, Ashan and a Yu looked clueless, not understanding why the mistress was staring at them like that. Yan Yao, quick, look. Mei Xiang called out again, urgent and excited. Yan Yao turned her head. The next second, her gaze froze. Her scalp tingled. Her stomach churned. Acid rose straight to her throat. This one's from my dad. And this is mine. The worms are out. Lan Xiang was way too excited. She couldn't wait. She held up to piles of poop crawling with worms. To show Yan Yao. Yan Yao couldn't even look. Guess she was wrong about the big guy after all. Yan Yao followed Lan Xiang through twists and turns, getting all turned around. She'd been at the tribe for a while now. But she never dared to wander before. So she didn't really know this little village. If you looked from above, the whole tribe was shaped like a circle, with a clear stream running right through the middle. The very center was where the chief lived, along with the tribe's higher-ranking beastmen. And on the outer edge? A few small huts, where the females who came from other tribes lived, plus the males who joined the leopard clan later. Tian, Lan Xiang brought her to the middle area, where most of the tribe lived. The sun was shining bright, and the breeze was cool. The fluffy little leopard cubs were let out by the adults, running wild along the pebble path by the river, chasing and playing around. They were having a great time. The women were scattered around, sitting by their doorways. Those who were close sat together in small groups. They were soaking up the sun, sewing clothes and weaving shoes. It felt like a peaceful countryside life. When they saw Yan Yao and Lan Xiang, head would give them a polite smile. They couldn't help but steal a few extra glances. A lot of people used to be jealous of Yan Yao, since every male in the tribe was drooling over her face. It was honestly annoying. But after what happened last night, a lot of them genuinely respected her. Because Yan Yao got rid of Da Hong, who loved to hit people. Not to mention she had a special connection with the noble princess of the southern tribe. That was something to envy. Lan Xiang led Yan Yao to a tall pile of grass and stopped. She shot a glare at the male beastman in front of the yard, who was staring at Yan Yao with a creepy look. Then she nudged Yan Yao's shoulder and said, Yan Yao, steamed buns. I'll go get everyone so we can talk all at once. Yan Yao nodded and thanked her. Lan Xiang waved off her thanks, pursing her lips and brushing it aside. Don't be so formal with me. Then she walked straight up to the male beastman, who was still sneaking looks at Yan Yao. What are you looking at? She snapped. Careful, Yulin will bite you to death. Wipe that drool off your face. Careful, Yulin will bite you to death. Wipe that drool off your face. Get lost. Lan Xiang figured even if Yinling died soon, someone as beautiful and kind as Yan Yao wasn't something just any weak male could match. Little Woe, Yan Yao has a job for us to earn shells. Come out and listen. Xiang, go round up the females over there. We've got a customer for that good-looking guy. Lan Xiang went door to door rallying the tribe's females. Whenever she spotted some guy sneaking peeks at Yan Yao, she'd snap at them. Scram! Watching Lan Xiang scurry round making arrangements, Yan Yao genuinely felt Lan Xiang was a good friend. She figured that guy probably felt pretty insecure. What he said earlier was well-meaning. He just hoped kind Yan Yao would have a better life. He didn't expect it to upset her instead. Wan Xin reluctantly watched Yan Yao's small figure walk away. Then asked Lan Xiang, Yinling's going to die in winter, right? Worry flickered in Lan Zhong's narrow, bright eyes. She stayed silent. She sighed in frustration. Only if he dies. Du Yongguang and I have a chance. Only if he dies Du Yongguang and I have a chance. Wan Xin didn't understand what Lan Xiang was regretting, and sighed too. Then she muttered to herself, maybe even if he dies, you two still wouldn't have a chance. Yan Yao's feelings seemed like a merfic's love for their mate. Head, you should find someone else. Merfic live and die with their one true mate. Their love isn't like other beastmen's. It's not about mating, food, or cubs. An ugly low-grade female doesn't deserve meat and sunshine. But Yan Yao is so fragrant and beautiful. I like him. Steamed buns. Wan Xin suddenly thought of something. Kun rubbed his sore head hard. But it didn't bring much relief. He and Sunshine had hit mating season long ago, yet kept putting off choosing a mate. The leopard tribe had very few females of their own. With plenty of food, they all ended up like Da Hong, fat and unattractive. And they looked down on the low-grade females. Plus, choosing a mate was a serious matter. Once you picked a partner, you couldn't just abandon them. Lan Xiang glanced at the young males looking desperate with hunger. She shrugged, used to it, and turned to help Yan Yao find the field root tree. On the way back, Yan Yao had a sudden flash of inspiration. His cheeks flushed slightly, and his thoughts suddenly became clear. They both wore beast-skin skirts. So why had the big guy never pitched a tent? Did he last night? Doesn't seem like it. It was all so shy and awkward. He held him and licked him like that and still nothing. Those heated images from last night kept flooding back. Yan Yao's earlobes burned. His face was soft and pink. Beneath his thick lashes, his glistening eyes were like crystal agates, showing a shy, innocent look. The big guy held him like that. How could he not like him? He must feel at least a little something. So there's only one answer. The big guy really doesn't have a dick. A grown man being like a eunuch down there. That's gotta mess with his pride and make him feel insecure. The big guy acts all cold on the outside. But maybe inside he's super self-conscious. That's why he left, he couldn't face it. Yan Yao thought back carefully. The big guy changed right when he let out that embarrassing sound. It was clearly so steamy, so gentle, so into it. Oh my god. Maybe his coldness is just his armor. The big guy's afraid of being seduced because he literally can't perform. If that's the case, it all makes sense now. So it's because he's ashamed and hurting over not having a tent pole. Hey, he could have just said something. Yan Yao figured a platonic love was fine too. As long as the big guy lets him pet his ears, lets him hug and kiss. Even if they can't do that, that's no big deal. Just looking and touching is already great. He didn't really care about the serious stuff anyway. Tonight, when the big guy comes back, he'll definitely comfort him. Thinking about it, Yan Yao's steps felt lighter. He decided to cook up a few good dishes at home and wait for the big guy to return. His boyfriend was no heartless leopard. A little while later, Yan Yao bounced back home with a cheerful stride. A Shan was squatting on the ground, twisting vines. A Yu was sitting there all serious, sewing animal hide with a thick thumb-sized bone needle, stitch by stitch, in and out. And honestly, it looked pretty decent. Master, I finished twisting all the rope. Is there anything else I can do? Seeing Yan Yao return, a Shan hurried over to him. But he didn't dare get too close. He just looked at Yan Yao with pleading eyes. Earlier, he'd only been helping a Yu. He felt so useless. Come with me. Yan Yao crooked his finger at a Shan, leading him to the back. The crops in the black soil of the backyard were a vibrant, thriving green. The shortest wheat reached up to his calves. The corn and soybeans went without saying. They were about waist-high on Yan Yao, lush and green, growing beautifully. At the market yesterday, Yan Yao had wanted to buy some soybeans and corn. Soybeans could make tofu, and corn could make cornmeal. But by the end of the season, the crops were gone. When he first arrived here, he could easily find them at the market. Now, they were nowhere to be seen. He was glad he'd traveled here in autumn. Most crops were still available. If it had been winter, the system would have been useless. Master, did you grow all this food? It looks amazing. A Shan hadn't dared wander around the yard when he first arrived, so he was just now getting a good look round. Yan Yao had a Shan pull out a long wooden plank from the corner. The one he'd used before to press sugarcane stalks. The long wood he'd used to press sugarcane stalks before. And the rolling press. A Shan might look simple, but his strength was no joke. He pushed the roller just as fast as Yinling could. He cranked it so hard it looked like it might smoke. Golden chaff flew everywhere, and the wheat grains instantly turned to powder. Simmering fragrant fish soup. The evening breeze blew, carrying rich, delicious aromas through the air. All kinds of mouth-watering smells mixed together, driving every beastman in the tribe crazy. Some of the scents they'd never smelled before. The beastmen gazed toward Yinling's place, buzzing with chatter. Before, a lot of people thought the delicious food was made by Yinling for the little females. But later, while passing by the fence, many male beastmen found out that it was actually the beautiful females at Yinling's place doing the cooking. Yinling getting to have such amazing females made everyone insanely jealous. Outside the yard, by the fence, a bunch of dog cubs had gathered, lured over by the smell. Drool dripped down from the fur around their mouths. It smelled way too good. In the yard, Yan Yao, with a Shan's help, set up another campfire, just for steaming the buns. Flames licked the bottom of the stone pot. When he lifted the wooden lid, thick steam mixed with fresh bread aroma rushed right at them. A Shan, with clean hands, grabbed a hot bun, set it on a big leaf, and kept working on the next batch. This time around, he wasn't drooling like the leopard cubs outside the gate. Not even a little bit. Because he and a Yu had already, with the mistress's permission, eaten 3 soft, fragrant white buns. So happy she could fly. Crispy and delicious, happy enough to cry. Inside, the fish soup was simmering in another pot. Baskets full of golden lotus root sandwiches, head, taro slices and sweet potato slices were all fried up. Yan Yao was squatting on the ground, watching a Yu flip scallion pancakes on the hot stone slab with his bare hands. The heat from the stone slab was intense. She'd wanted to make the pancakes herself. But before she even touched one, her little hand got red from the heat. Ayu, counting on his thick, tough skin, boldly offered to give it a try. Right in front of Yan Yao, he flipped the pancakes with his bare hands. He took over the job. After making 4 or 5 pancakes, Yan Yao checked his thick, rough hands. Sure enough, not a single burn. She felt relieved. You need to leave my territory now. When Yin Lin came back, he happened to see a bunch of cubs hanging by the fence. He chased them off without any courtesy. They clearly hadn't heard the big guy's voice. But Yan Yao inside seemed to sense something. On her little face, flushed from the heat, a bright, sweet smile spread. She ran out joyfully, not giving Yinling even a second to react. Yan Yao, like a beautiful butterfly fluttering with joy, threw herself into his arms. Yan Yao lifted her chin and beamed a sweet, warm smile. Going out to hunt was full of danger. He tried not to think about it. But deep down, she was still worried. Yan Rui's dark eyes were bright and clear as ever. Her voice was even softer and sweeter. You're back. I already made dinner. Asha and Ayu helped me a lot today. But we ran into some trouble. There are tools we need that we can't make. After you eat, can you help us make them? Also, I heard from Lan Xiang that tomorrow our tribe is heading to Kijia Lake. So today we made extra good food. We can bring plenty to eat on the road. Oh, and I packed extra clothes too. Azu is really good at making clothes. He made me to leather outfits. If you like them, he can make more for you tonight. Her soft pink lips kept chattering away, as if she'd completely forgotten their mixed, complicated night together. Yinling's spine had gone stiff the moment she hugged him. But now he let her have her way. As she pressed her face against his chest and nuzzled hard, Yinling lowered his head. His icy, deep silver eyes fixed on Yan Yao's cute little face. A low hum escaped his nose. Little female, what are you doing? His voice was low and husky. He believed the little female wasn't trying to seduce him on purpose. But he was definitely feeling seduced right now. That was a fact. Yan Yao pouted, a little annoyed. I've told you so much. That's such a lame reply. Fine, I'll let it slide since your cold attitude is just a shield for how insecure you really are. I won't hold it against you. Just as Yan Yao was about to let go of him, she accidentally brushed against the leather hide on his back. There was a huge tear in it. She instinctively reached up. A sticky, wet feeling came from her fingers. She pulled her arm back and looked, staring at her stained fingers. Her heart skipped a beat. The blood wasn't even dry. You're hurt. I went after a fierce beast and failed. Steamed buns. Let me see. Yan Yao shook his arms, trying to get him to turn around so she could look. That's when she realized he hadn't brought anything back at all. With his skills, hunting regular beasts should have been easy. Whatever hurt him must have been a fierce dinosaur. He went into the deep woods again. I couldn't bring the prey back. Even as he said that, Yin Lin didn't look upset or disappointed. His cold expression softened, and his eyes shimmered with a gentle warmth. Yan Yao's worried face made him feel warm inside. Today he went to the never-ending forest, surrounded by swamps. He managed to take down a full-grown blade beast. But as he was finishing it off, an even bigger, carnivorous leopard beast appeared out of nowhere. It ambushed him, trying to steal the blade beast's body. After weighing his options, Yin Lin made the rare call to retreat. He gave up the beast's body, only taking the beast core from its heart. In the past, Yin Lin would never have given up his prey so easily. A fight with the leopard beast was unavoidable. It might even be a fight to the death. But he wasn't alone anymore. Someone was waiting for him at home. He didn't want to take risks. Yan Yao couldn't move her sword, but she couldn't take her eyes off his arm. The big guy was strangely gentle. She hurried behind him to check his wounds. Then her breath caught. Her lips pressed tight. Her big pretty eyes turned red. The golden sunset light fell on Yin Lin. He stood in the light. His back always stood tall and straight as a pine, even though on his pale, jade-like back, gaping wounds were torn and bloody. The blood had long since clotted into dark scabs, for sharp claw marks ripped through his skin and flesh. A gruesome, terrifying sight. From the state of the dried blood, you could tell Yinlin's healing was incredibly fast. For an ordinary person, wounds like that couldn't heal that quickly. Does it hurt? Is this wound poisoned? We have plenty of food at home. You don't need to go hunting. Yao wanted to touch it but didn't dare. She stared at Yinlin's wound. Her voice was already trembling with tears. The big guy was her greatest sense of safety in this world. Maybe it was a bit selfish. But for someone this good to her, if he got poisoned to death, what would she do then? So Yinlin only went after the beast core and got hurt by the leopard beast. But the leopard beast didn't get off easy either. The second it got close, he blinded it. It's just one eye, doesn't even hurt. And the leopard beast wasn't poisonous. Yinlin's voice was surprisingly soft. She hummed in response. He naturally turned around, lifting the little female off the ground and onto his arm. Like carrying a child, he walked steadily toward the house. Steamed buns, a failed hunt. Coming home empty-handed was supposed to feel shameful. But his little female only cared about his injuries. It made his heart feel like it was melting. His snow-white beast ears twitched hard. Just looking at those soft furry ears, she was too cute for words. Yan Yao was picked up so suddenly her cheeks flushed. She was worried. But the big guy never did what she expected. Last night she wouldn't let him hold her. Today he's hurt this bad. And he still insists on carrying her. Stubborn and unreasonable. The two oxen, still steaming buns, sneaked glances at their master. Who knows what they were thinking? Their eyes squinting into slits, showing big white teeth, with goofy grins on their faces. Right. Under Yan Yao's strong insistence, she managed to force Yinlin to let her clean and treat his wound. Why force? Because the big guy refused to lie down. So she could properly clean it. She let him wipe the blood off barely. Yan Yao was exhausted. To help the big guy recover, she started feeding him like crazy at mealtime. The little female had made so many dishes. Yinlin really didn't expect it. The little female had made so many dishes. Like buns, wine, fried sweet potato slices. They looked weird too. But they still tasted amazing. What surprised him most was how she cooked fish. If there was one thing Yinlin was picky about, it was not liking fish. Too fishy, but her fish soup was white and rich. When she lifted the lid, the savory aroma spread out and lingered in the air. The taste was sweeter and fresher than anything before. The fish was tender and smooth, even better than lean meat. Yan Yao made him drink every last drop of the soup. He snuck a tiny bite of the fish back meat. She fed the rest to him. He'd lost so much blood. She had to make sure he got proper nutrition. If you like it, catch some fish sometime and I'll make it again. But only after you're healed. She wondered if it would scar. Yan Yao nibbled on her bun, feeling sad about it. It'd be such a shame if his beautiful back got scarred. Her big, charming eyes showed how heartbroken she was. I've had way worse injuries before. I'll be fine in a few days, Yinlin said, as if to comfort her. His little female was just so endearing. But his next words had a hint of jealousy in them. Who caught the fish? Were you out during the day? Actually, when Yinlin came back in, he smelled another male scent on Yan Yao. It was very faint, but his sense of smell was sharp. On one hand, males in heat have a stronger, more distinct scent. When Yan Yao mentioned catching fish, he remembered there were no fish at home. Lan Xiang caught them. I did step out during the day. Little bun. I asked some females in the tribe to gather sugarcane for me. We caught herring on the way back. Steamed buns. Still making brown sugar? Yan Yao sat on the ground, taking small bites of her bun. She winked at the big guy, looking pleased. The big guy seemed to be hinting at something. You met another male? Yinlin's voice was still calm and steady. But he clearly wasn't letting it go. Yan Yao watched his face, which had been warm just moments ago, turn cold and distant again. Don't tell me you smelled Wanxing on me? He just patted my shoulder during the day. You've got a nose like a dog. If I did run into someone, would you get jealous? Yan Yao put down her bun. She moved closer to Yinlin. Her eyes sparkled. She rested her chin on her hand and looked at him playfully. Jealous Yinlin lowered his head slightly. On his handsome, refined face, his brows furrowed lightly. His silver eyes, shimmering with icy blue light, stared straight at her. I mean, you're jealous, Yan Yao. Being jealous means feeling upset inside. You want to hit someone and get mad at me. But you can't really bring yourself to be mad at me. That kind of feeling. Yan Yao gave a spot-on explanation. Her long, curled lashes blinked up and down. Her cute, grape-like dark eyes were lively with a hint of excitement. Her fair cheeks flushed slightly pink. Don't ask how she knew so well. Back when Mi Dai was flirting with the big guy, that was exactly how she felt. No, Yinlin coldly uttered those two icy words, like a frozen sword stabbing through her heart, instantly snuffing out the flames of her romantic hopes. I wouldn't hit anyone. And I wouldn't get mad at you. Yinlin figured he wasn't that extreme. Just because someone else looked at Yan Yao, he wouldn't go hit them. He wouldn't get angry either. Yan Yao's scent was very faint. She hadn't had any close contact with other males. Liar, you'd totally be jealous. You like me. But you won't admit it. Yan Yao pointed at Yinlin with a shy, annoyed look, voicing her complaint. Anyway, he would never believe that the big guy didn't like him. He kissed him, hugged him, licked him. There's no way he didn't like him, right? The big guy's clearly just insecure. But he didn't want the big guy running from his feelings. It would just make things worse. Like last night. Yinlin was genuinely caught off guard by Yan Yao's sudden boldness. He froze completely. Tian, I can satisfy you from now on. His handsome face stayed cold as stone. But his upright beast ears, the moment Yan Yao said that, drooped back innocently. The soft fur on his pointed ears trembled pitifully. Watching that, Yan Yao's anger faded quite a bit. Her voice softened. Shyly, she hooked her pinky around Yinlin's, which rested on his thigh. Face flushed, she spoke sincerely. Listen to me. You don't have that. I already know. I honestly don't care that we can't mate. It's fine, I don't need that anyway. If you like me, just say so. Don't feel insecure or hold it in. Really, I'm not lying to you. Yinlin understood what she meant. His snow-white ears shot straight up like antennas. Yinlin suddenly smiled knowingly. A sly curve tugged at the corner of his lips. As the smile lifted his cheeks, his long, slender eyes naturally tilted up. A hint of seductive charm spread across his naturally alluring face, dangerously captivating. Like a cold fairy suddenly turning temptingly bewitching. For Yinlin, all it took was a smile. Manga. The little female's blunt words, paired with that shy look on her face, made his heart race with pure delight. He couldn't hold back even a little anymore. His slender hand reached up to touch Yan Yao's soft face. His palm was slightly warm. Yinlin leaned down and pressed his lips close to her ear. Softly, gently, he whispered in a tempting voice. You have me, we can mate in the future. His low, seductive voice hit like a thunderbolt, exploding right by Yan Yao's ear. Her ears, cheeks, and neck burned hot. Her nose felt like it could shoot fire. You have me. What kind of nonsense was he saying? What was he even thinking? Yan Yao was so embarrassed she couldn't even lift her head. She slapped the big guy's hand away, covered her burning face, and sprinted toward the river. A wild boar grunted. What cheesy line did he just say? Even if you can't mate, it's fine. If you like me, just say so. She swore to the heavens. Her only intention was to comfort the big guy. Yinlin didn't expect the little female to react so strongly. He raised an eyebrow watching her run off. Though she was different from other males, he definitely bumped into it before. How could she think he didn't have one? The bright moon rose. Stars glittered across the night sky. The cold river water rushed. It splashed against her burning face. Crouching by the river, Yan Yao wished she could dig a hole and hide in it. Oh, little angel, look at you. You've only been here a few days. And you're already corrupted by this place. How embarrassing. The little demon was completely overpowered. Tian. Yan Yao bit her lip hard. She was so frustrated she could cry. She really wanted to run away. What kind of tool do you need? A cold voice came from behind her. Yan Yao's heart raced from the scare. She nervously stood up. She was about to fall backward into the water. If the water were deep, it wouldn't be a big deal. But the key issue was, the riverbank was very shallow. Sharp, jagged rocks covered the shallows. If she hit them, her head would definitely crack open. Yan Yao looked at the big guy in panic. Her face suddenly turned pale. She let out a cry. It was barely enough time for a desperate shout. Just one ah. Splash, crystal clear water sprayed up. Silver scales leaped into the river before her. He caught Yan Yao, whose eyes were tightly shut. No pain like she expected. Phew, thank goodness. The big guy saved her just in time. He's so strong. You're too weak. Better stay home tomorrow. Silver Lin frowned. He hadn't wanted to bring Yan Yao out in the first place. The little female had no sense of danger. And her reactions were way too slow. Females didn't even have basic instincts. Any female would instinctively turn when falling. But she couldn't even manage that. When he was all alone, any female would instinctively turn when falling. Keep her face down. So she lands on her face, instead of the back of her head. She doesn't even have that basic instinct. Yan Yao just redefined what helpless meant to him. Someone like her walking to steps on a rough mountain path. It'd be no surprise if she fell to her death. how dangerous it is out there. Yinling knows all too well. Yan Yao had no idea why the big shot suddenly changed his mind. But how could she not go out? She immediately pouted, with a spoiled air about her, and whined in Yinling's arms. No way, you can't go back on your word. I'm going, I have to go. I really, really have to go. Yinling stood in the water, holding her close. His striking face was calm as the moon and stars, utterly unruffled. Judging by his expression, he seemed unmoved. He really wasn't going to take Yan Yao out. I don't care what you say, you can't sneak off. Otherwise, Yan Yao could think all day and never come up with anything that could threaten the big shot. The big shot was already doing her a favor by keeping her around. She pouted her soft pink lips and said in a spoiled, whiny voice, "Then I'll come find you." Yan Yao grabbed Yinling's collar, teary-eyed and rambling nonsense. If I get eaten by a beast on the way, that'd be so sad. Yinling said nothing. With a cold, distant look, he carried the chattering Yan Yao in his arms and walked out of the river. With a cold, distant look, he carried the chattering Yan Yao in his arms and walked out of the river. Bright red blood ran down his back. The sudden movement earlier had pulled at his back muscles, reopening the wound. He didn't think Yan Yao would actually go looking for him. The little female was timid. What he knew for sure was that she chose him just to avoid other males. He was smart. Why would he recklessly leave the tribe? He wasn't swayed by such an impossible threat. The little female just wanted to go out and play. You have to take me, right? We agreed. Besides, if I'm home alone, I'll get picked on. I'd get bullied to death. Yan Yao pouted, looking pitiful, clutching Yinling's collar tightly, making the consequences sound way worse than they were. It was already late autumn. Cotton and ramie were easy enough. Cotton grew at the end of autumn, so now was the perfect time. Ramie was an evergreen plant, so it wasn't hard to find either. Back at school, the green plants in the plaza, with needle-like leaves, were evergreens. But the big leaf vines common in the countryside were different. By late autumn and early winter, they'd shed their leaves and wither into dry vines. Would those still be useful? Yinling carried Yan Yao over to a wooden stump in the yard and sat down, letting him keep clutching his collar. He asked calmly, "Who would pick on you? Who in the tribe are you afraid of?" Moonlight spilled across the man's sharp, angular face, softening his features in a way that was hard not to stare at. But the cold glint fading from his eyes was no joke. The big shot really would throw down if he said he would. What if what if you're gone for days? What if another tribe attacks us? Yan Yao sat up in Yinling's arms, his big watery eyes full of worry. His delicate face looked so pitiful. And he slowly hung his head. He thought to himself, that's a pretty solid excuse. Isn't the big shot worried about trouble back home? Also, his boyfriend's legs were really long. Sitting on them, his feet didn't even touch the ground. He could swing them. Maybe he was just too short. But being over 5 feet wasn't that short, right? Or was it because the big shot was just too tall? The males from nearby tribes all go catch fresh fish. No male would sneak attack our tribe. We'll also leave a team behind to guard. Yinling's voice was calm. He patted Yan Yao's lowered head. That meant it was a no. Though many beastmen didn't like fish, the herring in Lake Kijia, which migrate in huge numbers every winter, were a key food source for beastmen to stock up for winter. Thousands of herring leaping up from the lake, trying to swim back to the sea. It was quite a sight. What if I miss you? Yan Yao was getting anxious. So frustrating. A modern person like him couldn't even out-argue a beastman. Was his IQ dropping? Suddenly, Yan Yao gritted his teeth. In for a penny, in for a pound. He wrapped his arms around the big shot's neck and said boldly, "But what if I miss you? What am I supposed to do when I can't sleep at home missing you?" "I don't care, I'm coming with you." Normally, saying stuff like that would make him blush. But Yan Yao was desperate. So he really didn't turn red. His bright, big eyes were full of cuteness, fiercely determined. His long, curled lashes blinked up and down, blinking, trying to send some sparks. Keep the sparks coming. He watched the big shot's cold face get closer and closer, until their noses bumped. It was just their noses. A gentle touch. But it made Yan Yao's heart feel like it got slammed by a giant pink fist. It hit him right in the heart. Right in the feels. Those soft pink lips. The tip of that sharp nose lightly. Yan Yao shyly closed his eyes. A sweet smile curling on his lips. He didn't want to be so flirty. But it was like an arrow already on the string. To go out with the big shot. Sacrificing a little charm was nothing. Heart pounds for 1 second. Waits quietly for 2 seconds. Yan Yao peeked open one eye, glancing at the big shot. Seriously? Why was the big shot suddenly staring off into the night sky? That's so uncalled for. Well, not really staring, because the big shot's expression had just relaxed. And in those gentle eyes, a silver moonlight suddenly gathered, slowly forming a dangerous, icy gaze, judging by how deep the frown was. He was on high alert about whoever was coming. He was disgusted. What's wrong? Did someone come? Yenya realized the big shot might have sensed something. Moxie from the Snake Clan. His chosen mate came to our tribe. When Yinling spat out those words coldly, his expression still carried that disgust. That confused Yan Yao. He asked quietly, "You know him?" "We've fought. He's not even from our tribe. Why do you have such a problem with his mate?" Yan Yao found it weird for no reason. He's strong. I'm going to check on the chief. Something must be going on." Yinling set Yan Yao down from his arms. He stood up to head outside. He'd promised the chief he'd protect the tribe. In exchange, the chief would have people keep an extra eye on Yan Yao's safety. When he went out hunting, Yan Yao was safe as long as he stayed in the tribe. "I'm coming too." Yan Yao wasn't all that curious about the powerful Moxie. The main thing was, he was worried Moxie had bad intentions toward the tribe. He was afraid something shady would go down. Yan Yao jogged over to grab Yinling's hand, but noticed the wound on the big shot's back had split open. The red was blood. The white was flesh. Both mixed together turned outward, though the blood wasn't pouring out. It looked way more gruesome than when they first got back. Did this guy not feel pain? Just looking at it hurt. "Wait, do you want to change your clothes?" Yan Yao grabbed Yinling's arm. Looking up at him, Yinling saw the little female insisting on coming along. So he crouched down and picked her up. Walking quickly, he said in a low voice, "No need, let me go see what Jin's tribe wants now." Yan Yao seemed used to being carried around, worried about the big guy's injury, but totally unable to stop his tough, bossy ways. "Slow down, don't tear your wound again. Just because you heal fast doesn't mean you can trash your body." Yinling had no idea what trash your body meant. That didn't stop him from striding fast. Soon they reached the ritual platform with a blazing bonfire. The tribe chief, elders, guard squad, and hunting team all stood on the platform. A blonde woman kept circling the bonfire. There weren't many beastmen below the platform, and very few low-level females. Lan Xiang and the other females of the Flower Bud tribe were all there. Yan Yao felt a little shy, really annoyed by the attention. Lan Xiang and Xiang smiled warmly at Yan Yao and Yinling when they saw them. Lan Xiang called out first, waving at the two of them. Maybe because of what Yan Yao said that afternoon, Lan Xiang's attitude toward Yinling was much friendlier now. If she truly treated Yan Yao like a sister, she'd respect her sister's own choices. "Yan Yao, your male is really something. He's afraid you're too short." To see the ceremony on stage, Xiang teased with a grin. She was more envious than anything. He was tall and strong, and her own male couldn't even carry her. Yan Yao still had no idea what was going on. Her face turned red, her cheeks flushing even more, and she wanted to get down. But the big shot showed no sign of putting her down. The whistleblower stared straight ahead. Cold and wary, he scanned their surroundings. Lan Xiang patted Jia Zhang's shoulder, then pointed at the golden-haired figure on the altar. With a hint of disdain, he said, "Yan Yao, that female from the Golden Clan is about to become our new mistress. What do you think of her?" Yan Yao turned her head and followed his finger to look carefully. With bright, sparkling eyes, the woman had long, smooth golden hair, wearing what looked like a custom-made, loose purple gold gauze robe. Her face was striking, her eyes drawn thin and sharp, long and alluring, with green pupils that rolled like two green beans. Yan Yao thought she looked a bit like Die Hong plus. Could she be another half-sister from the same mother? She tested the waters with Lan Xiang. She's Die Hong's older sister. Die Hong's mom really knew how to pop him out. Lan Zhang's tone was dripping with sarcasm. It sounded like she really didn't like the Golden Leopard clan. "Hey, she's nothing like Die Hong. She's the Golden Leopard clan's little princess." Xiang was practically drooling with envy. A princess isn't just any clan chief's daughter. A clan chief doesn't count as a king. Only the chief of the entire species is the king. The Golden Leopard clan outranks all other leopard clans. They lead the Spotted Leopard and Gray Leopard clans. So their leader isn't just a clan chief. He's also called the Leopard King. Yan Yao was stunned. Yan Yao let out a soft sound. She wanted to see what was happening on the stage. Then suddenly, a flash of black mist blurred her vision. In the blink of an eye, a tall figure appeared across from Yinlin. It was hard to tell if they were male or female. Unlike most males who wore animal hides, they wore flowing dark blue robes. Their enchanting purple hair reached down to their calves. They had a delicate oval face, with a sharp chin. Their lips were a vivid red, set against an almost ivory pale face, framed by a pair of pitch-black eyes. Deep within the darkness, a cold, eerie light seemed to glow. That coldness was like something out of a nightmare. Silver light flickered within those eyes, rising and falling without end, flaring bright, then dimming, flickering on and off, giving off a dark, unsettling vibe. Your mate is indeed a remarkably beautiful little female. No wonder you turned down my honey butterflies. The man spoke as if he could barely open his mouth. His voice carried an extremely alluring, dangerous edge. That allure didn't come off as weak or effeminate. But Yan Yao was creeped out. That's terrifying, what the hell? Yinlin's slender frame stood tall. His lashes trembled slightly. His cold, clear eyes narrowed. He shot the man a contemptuous glance. Stay back, my mate doesn't want to see you. It was a confident statement. A cold, commanding declaration. Yan Yao recognized that look and attitude. It was exactly how he'd faced the snake by the river last time. Not only was the male fragile, this scared little female was not only delicate, but also timid. It completely blew his mind. Anyway, no one had a smaller backbone than him. So how could he bring him into a jungle that even he had to tread carefully in? Moxie smugly cut in. Strolling over to Yinlin, he didn't have a care in the world. He pointed at the big red figure on the ritual platform. No big secret. Yinru smiled. Yinlin, look, that's my mate now. What do you think of her? Yinlin wanted to punch him. But since he was still holding Yan Yao, he couldn't be bothered. He asked flatly, do you know how much food the Leopard King wants the Spotted Leopard clan to give up this time? Moxie pretended not to hear Yinlin. He watched the figures on the platform start dancing wildly around the bonfire, and shook his head to himself. Compared to your little female, my new mate is way off. So ugly. Seeing how lifeless he looked, Yinlin headed toward Chief Gaiu. Moxie saw Yinlin going to Yao and turned to leave, muttering, if the big red thing ticks off the chief, this time they might have to give up half the flying fish. That secret will become your new shaman. He'll report to the Leopard clan exactly how much food you've stored. What, is your tribe ready to start a war? The moment his mocking words landed, Chief Gaiu led Wanqing and Yangguang over toward Yinlin as well. Yinlin, I need to talk to you about something good. Let's talk at my place. Gaiu looked at Yinlin with a grave expression. The few new strands of gray hair made her suddenly look much older. Yinlin's face turned serious. She set Yunli down and shot a warning look at Moshi. Moshi backed away from Yan Yao on his own. A smirk curled on his lips. Charming and alluring, playfully seductive. His attitude seemed to give Yinlin all the respect she needed. Wait here for me a bit. Yinlin patted Yan Yao's head. Except for the shaman, females weren't allowed to take part in internal tribe discussions. Yan Yao nodded obediently. Right, like he'd dare misbehave. He was counting on the big shot to take him along. For being good. Hey there, pretty little female. I'm really close with your mate. We're good friends, he led me here. Moshi really didn't get close to Yan Yao. He greeted her from about half a meter away. But whether it was his words or his posture, he reminded her of a creep trying to lure kids. The cops always said, when you see someone like this, don't respond. Don't engage. Just stick with the crowd and find help. So Yan Yao was too scared to even give him a glance. She ignored him completely and went back to Lan Zhong's side. The snake tongue flicking out of that pitch-black mouth was just too creepy. Don't you think that snake Beastman is gorgeous and charming? Xiang was totally mesmerized by Moshi. She couldn't take her eyes off him. Seeing Yan Yao so coldly ignoring him, she was almost sticking up for Moshi. She just couldn't understand it. Didn't she think he was just some cold-blooded, creepy creature? Yan Yao stood close to Lan Xiang. They couldn't understand the words she was saying. But clearly they weren't nice ones. You're a charming and lovely female too. Moshi shot a flirtatious glance at Xiang, who was speaking up for him. He stepped forward and reached out to touch Xiang's face, smiling like some smooth-talking playboy. Pretty little female. Do you think I'm handsome? Moshi whispered right by Xiang's ear. His eerie, delicate face tilted slightly as he smiled at Yan Yao with a strange look, like he was showing off his charm. Even TV dramas wouldn't dare write something this dramatic. His big hand was already roaming over Moshi's body. Xiang was clearly getting totally swept away. The two were about to be all over each other. Lan Xiang and the others were actually still laughing. Quite a few females even looked jealous. And Yao thought this terrifying snake was basically a homewrecker. Come on, one of you is already taken. And the other is married too. And your partners are right up on that stage. Even TV dramas wouldn't dare write something this dramatic. Yajia, as a member of the guard and hunting teams, had been watching from the altar the whole time, baring his teeth in fury, mad enough to explode. The furious Yajia leaped down from the altar. His leather outfit tore apart midair. The beast of a man, Yajia, shifted into a fierce, powerful leopard. He lunged straight at Moshi, who was provoking him. Leopards were always top tier when it came to speed. But Moshi moved like a strange black mist, shifting from human form to half man, half snake. In an instant, his thick black python tail whipped out and struck Yajia, who was trying to ambush him. Wham! Yajia was sent flying 7 or 8 meters. He was knocked clean off his feet. I didn't steal your female. Your female was the one who wanted to get close to me. Moshi looked down at Yajia on the ground, his voice low and deep, his red lips curling with a wicked charm. He wasn't truly a crippled beastman. He could shift, even if it was only at half strength. It was definitely fierce. But that didn't matter. What mattered was that everyone thought Moshi had a point. They still stared at him, gazing with hearts in their eyes, as if they all wanted his favor and affection. After all, beastmen really didn't have any concept of chastity or virtue. Whoever was strongest got the attention. Xiang, though, was calm. Yajia, however, still looked at Moshi with a reluctant, burning gaze. That's enough. Mimi stood on the platform, calling out with displeasure, then quickly walked down the steps. The ritual on the altar seemed to be over. Ever since Moshi showed up, hardly anyone was paying attention to the ceremony anymore. Is my little female upset? Right in front of everyone, Moshi used his tail to coil Mimi into his embrace. Caught off guard, Mimi, whose skin was quite fair, let out a soft, breathy cry. A double surge of energy rippled across the serpent's belly. It brushed lightly against Mimi's legs. He stretched his serpentine head toward her neck. Mimi looked completely lost in the sensation. She cried out, hot and breathless. Faint sounds of pleasure slipped out. At that moment, nearly everyone could smell it. The thick, musky scent of Mimi's heat. Yenya knew her sense of smell was weak.